a while.
It's been a little while.
It has been a little while. Just to catch everyone up, we didn't do Survivor Series 2 weeks ago for a number of reasons.
Yeah.
Mostly surrounding things that happened to be Thanksgiving weekend, and it just was
Busy time, scripting, everything else.
yeah. November was a
Mhm.
November was a hellish month for me. So before we get too far, I think we just need to kind of quickly recap our.
Yeah, let's go over.
We'll quickly recap Survivor Series, but
Yeah.
keep it to the bare minimum. Um, Survivor Series, match card wise, only like 5 matches.
Yeah.
And one of them wasn't even really a match, but at the end of the day, it was a fun pay per view. And like Goldberg, let's just bury the lead here. Goldberg squashing Brock. It's all anyone can ever talk about.
Yeah. Man, what were your?
I was actually kind of flabbergasted.
Yeah, so was I.
No, but like nobody in the world expected it to go only like 100. No, not even 100 seconds, like a minute 20.
But as surprising as it wasn't. I wouldn't call it a great feeling, or even a good feeling.
You know what?
It was just. It happened.
Like, we're not WCW children, so
yeah. If I were a Goldberg fan, if I'd watched any of his matches, I just never watched WCW. If I'd watched any of his matches, then this would have carried a lot of weight for me, but it just didn't. So
it's.
There you go.
Well, if you've seen one Goldberg match, you've seen them all. It's not so much about his ring performance. It was just about this force of nature that only seemed to follow him like myth and legend. And credit to WCW, their booking committee got a lot of things wrong, but the one thing they did get right was Goldberg. I mean, the guy couldn't have a match longer than 10 minutes. So what do? Just have him just run roughshod over.
So what do?
You
put him in a 1-minute match.
Put him in.
How long was the match actually?
Minute 20.
Yeah,
minute 20.
It's like he can only do 10 minutes, and this has been a while. It's been 12 years, has it?
Yeah, 12 years since he's been in the ring.
So it's like, okay, if he could do 10 minutes at his best, 10 take away 12. Yeah, he can do a negative 2-minute match if you take away each year.
At that point, you're just getting into theoretical wrestling physics. Like, literally, can Randy Orton RKO from nowhere? Like, if he somehow managed to form as an RKO and then RKO himself into infinity in some Ouroboros sort of weird infinite loop. Like, that's the secret of cold fusion. Somewhere, the secret of cold fusion is in Randy Orton's RKO. Mark my words on this.
Yeah. If you can contain it, and if you can contain Randy Orton and get him to do an RKO.
Somehow managed to have...
I mean, how would that be? It would have to...
I don't know. That's the great question of our day. It's sort of like, can God microwave a burrito so hot that even he cannot eat it? Can Randy Orton RKO himself out of nowhere?
Yes.
Outside of that, initial shock and wonderment of where the fuck do they go from here, Survivor Series to me was actually a Survivor. It was mainly what appeared to me as a kind of a carnival sideshow of of attractions, as it were. There wasn't any story being built up in any match on the card that had a story going into it. It was, it just kind of buried the lead and then just gone. Like the IC title match between Miz and Sami Zayn. That match could have only ended the way it did, and it was an entertaining match for what it was. But goddamn, does it feel like that? That belt has been stuck in neutral. And what happened tonight is
kind of stasis. Yeah.
Well, kind of a stasis, but it's a weird sort of feeling. So I would we'll get to that when we get to that on our TLC recap. But that was kind of a non-starter. The women's match that started it off, some tasty spots and some moments here and there. Wasn't that big of a deal for me. The tag team 10-man, what was it? A 10 tag team Survivor
Turmoil?
Series.
Tag team turmoil,
yeah.
Or was it? Or,
that was just one of those matches that felt like it didn't kick into gear for me until finally Cesaro and Sheamus
Yeah.
managed to pull it out.
Good stuff. I'm really enjoying I'm enjoying Cesaro.
Oh, of course.
Cesaro.
Like they haven't branded it yet, but
Sabaro,
I'm hoping one day they finally, just finally pull the trigger and call themselves Cesaro.
They should.
Yeah.
How can you not?
Sounds like a Captain Marvel villain.
Cesaro.
Shazam.
Cesaro.
Yeah. Exactly. And the men's Survivor Series match was just an hour of pure fun. Long as fuck, and it didn't feel its length at points, but goddamn was that a fun thrill-a-minute match. Everything from Ellsworth taking a huge spill off the tables into seeing the Wyatt family emerge victorious. That was... Oh.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, I mean, that was, to me, was not as... I thought that was going to be the surprise of the night. Boy, was I wrong, but how is that? Like, it took Brock Lesnar getting squashed for me to not... For it to be more surprising than Bray Wyatt emerging victorious after a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And apparently that's not an apparition. Am I spoiling something?
But yeah, nice to see Bray Wyatt going up in the world.
Is there any matches we're missing from Survivor Series?
But for me, the entirety of it was... I don't know. I never was exactly a huge fan of brand wars, I guess. That might just be because I grew up during a time kind of when they weren't doing that angle.
Well, yeah, of course. We grew up in the Attitude Era. So.
Yeah, so I think I have to relearn to appreciate it.
Yeah, there wasn't a SmackDown until, I think, 1999? It was the first...
Yeah, it was like 98 or 99. I think it might have been 98.
I'm leaning towards 99. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Sure.
But either way, 97, 98, when we were, right in the heyday, it was just Raw and that's it. And then...
But yeah, the Survivor Series, the whole thing was it was all right. It wasn't, this one, much better.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's definitely more contained.
And it was, short and sweet is not a bad thing. So.
No, especially if it doesn't, especially if you have some matches that could have been way worse than it was. Sort of like the Kalisto versus Brian Kendrick for the Cruiserweight Championship fight in Survivor. That was a dog of a match.
And I'm sorry, but these matches that are like 1 minute long, but it's really shocking, I don't buy those very well. They don't sit great with me. Watching Randy Orton get pummeled for a while by Lesnar laying on top of him wasn't much of... It's like, these are your main events. Maybe put them slightly before the main event so that this isn't what you're leaving on. But then maybe it's a punctuation. Maybe that's the point. But... it doesn't sit great with me. It feels lazy.
I don't know. Like I don't think that Randy Orton performing a hardway juice job is
Don't
lazy.
get me wrong.
Yeah, if you're gonna bleed for real from an actual real legit wound,
kudos for bleeding for the the brand.
Not just bleeding, but like I said, hard way.
I know it was a actual forced juice job with the
hardway juice
forearms.
Job, yeah.
So good for him, but I mean, it's like, do I want to be happy seeing a guy get pummeled for a little while and then that's it?
Yeah. I mean,
going back to Jim Cornette.
Yeah, like going back to that idea that it doesn't take a lick of talent to be a hardcore wrestler.
And it's like, I know Randy Orton's a talented wrestler, so.
But
I don't know. It's just it doesn't.
Going back to his matches, it's not like he has the lack of cojones to do.
It's just that's not a match, though.
Yeah, it's not
a match. It's just Brock Lesnar doing what he did, laying on top of a guy pummeling him. So he does in UFC. That's why I don't watch UFC. I guess that's why I don't watch his matches in UFC. It's like I know how that's gonna go.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, it was, if only for the men's match. The men's match was a mile a minute fun. For about an hour, which can get exhausting, but it was fun. If an hour of your pay-per-view is balls to the wall fun, you're doing at least something right. Your mishandling of the cruiserweight match, notwithstanding, it was an all-right pay-per-view. But TLC, much more of a tight, wound-up package.
I enjoy this so much more.
Oh yeah,
not that Survivor was bad.
No.
This was way. I'm gonna remember this way more than Survivor.
Oh yeah, especially for some of these moments. But before we get into the pay-per-view proper, you, I believe, have double up on the gifts for me.
I thought you were gonna get to my homework assignment.
No.
Jesus Christ.
I'm not going to get to your homework assignment. We're going to get to your homework assignment in a little bit.
So there you go.
All right. This is...
I think there's another thing before
Oh, yeah.
Christmas, though.
Oh, yeah. What? Oh, hooded towel wrap. What is... It's a... It's a... What the... I've never seen this in my life. What the hell is it? Is this like a Snuggie or something? Or... Oh...
Put it on.
Look at it. You know that tacky... What in the hell is this? Oh, this is for like a child. Come on. What are the?
It's for a big boy, though. It's for a big boy. Put it on.
So let's look at the back here. We got.
You're gonna love the way you look. I guarantee it.
We got Daniel Bryan. We got John Cena, and we got Roman Reigns as a hooded towel wrap.
Ah, that's great. That looks great.
Oh my God! You can actually. There's a huge WWE logo right in the top of my head. Oh.
It almost looks like a Russian hat or something on the frame.
Yeah, it's
Because it looks kind of squared.
Yeah, this is easily one of the most ridiculous things I've ever worn.
I love it. It's like a little shawl.
It's not even like you gotta I gotta lose weight. I can't even. I am so massive.
It's for a kid.
I know.
To be fair, it's for a kid.
You know what? This is too goofy looking for me to actually be angry at you for this. Then I got Daniel Bryan on my left. I got the angel on my left shoulder, and I got the devil on my right. You know.
Yep.
You know how appropriate. But there's another thing inside here. Was this for TLC or was this for Survivor Series?
This one was for TLC.
Oh, okay.
This one is for Survivor Series.
Oh, okay. Oh. It's a.
What is it?
It's a Vicky.
What is it?
It's a Vicky Guerrero action figure. Oh my God, that is. What is this? A bubble torso?
Isn't that beautiful? That's great. That's great, isn't it?
It's like a perfect representation of how Vicky Guerrero got the general manager role.
Oh.
Am I wrong? Capitalizing off that Eddie Guerrero heat. Apparently, we got some Vicky Guerrero fans upstairs. Like, stop saying shit about Vicky. She gets heat. Bam, bam. She gets real heat. Actually, if I'm being perfectly honest here, I don't mind Vicky Guerrero for being a heel persona. I actually liked her way better as a heel than as like some demure, like, I'm so happy to be around the wrestlers, and then Edge took advantage of her and then just kind of turned her evil, and she's never turned back since.
That's the power of the rated R superstar.
Yeah. Watch out for your Edge. He's coming for your woman. Hide your kids, hide your wife. Oh man, that is beautiful. You know, weird.
Well, I'm glad you like it.
Yeah. Cougar Splash.
That's way higher than she got.
Oh yeah, like in order to do the Cougar Splash, you gotta go like then land on your feet, and then you kind of like get on your knees, and then you kind of clumsily
pin them.
Not even pin them; it's just sort of like a lay on them. It's so tragic. Oh, here's the thing, like, oh God, like the knees bend so hard, but you think because she could get like really, really like. I mean, she's used to doing this to Vince McMahon, so she's got to get her head way back, and then just go all the way in, just like.
Oh, you're implying that she has to. So long.
I'm implying that Vicky Guerrero is sucking Vince McMahon's dick for.
You're implying how long his dick is.
Oh, yes.
That she has to go so far back.
Yes. If you're hearing this, Vince McMahon, my P.O. box is 1275 4th Street. That's where you mail the check.
Brilliant, yes.
Yes, please. But yeah, that is so much fun. But you also got me a gift for Survivor Series that we never got to. So I believe it's in that little bag right there.
Wait.
Oh, did you
No,
change?
that is it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's it.
You fished that out of the bag without me knowing it. Okay. Okay, beautiful. I, on the other hand, only have one.
I wasn't going to risk you peeking ahead of time.
Okay, one hand.
Oh, fucking...
One thing, but here it is.
Way to outclass me, man.
Here, take your title back and put it over.
Oh, I'll see if I can wear it as like a headband or something.
There you go.
No, that's not going to work.
That's just going to get in the way.
Yeah.
All right. Wow, this is big. I swear to God, I already know it's going to be Kevin Nash shit.
Is it? But what could it be?
Of course it's Kevin Nash shit. Is this a cover? This is fucking Kevin Nash cover. Is it a pillow? It's a pillow. God damn it. Fuck you.
Oh, look at the Kevin Nash thing.
God. Big sexy. NWO.
So now you could sleep on Big Daddy Cool's chest, just like you always wanted.
Yeah, look at that cleavage.
Beautiful, beautiful titty meat.
Yep.
Actually, did you see that that GIF of Paige literally playing with Big E's titties?
No, I have not.
Yeah, Paige literally just kind of like ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum on Big E's chest. Like,
When are they gonna let her back?
one of these days.
Good lord, we need her back.
We need her back. We need her to start molesting Big E more.
Yeah. Like, that whole angle would have gone totally differently if it were her instead of Bailey, so... Yeah, that would have gotten naughty really fast.
You're just hearkening back to the... Like, you are like the most interesting wrestling fan I've ever known, and the fact that you love the fact that female wrestling is better now than it has ever been in the history of wrestling, or at least
the reason I watch, yeah.
the reason of the history of WWE easily, and yet you also want to go back to the days of like oil wrestling matches and evening gown matches and pillow
It's
fights.
my childhood. It's not. I did. They wrote it that way.
I'm not disagreeing.
I didn't want to enjoy those
I did
almost completely nude females wrestling each other.
It's that evil Vince McMahon. He held me at gunpoint and made me watch those bikini-clad beauties, oil each other up and wrestle for my entertainment.
It was put in there in between watching the other stuff.
Yeah.
In order to get my wrestling fix, that was also in there. It's not like I could just, turn it off because I wouldn't know when it was over and the next match started. But you got me a Kevin Nash pillow.
Yeah, that's the point of this conversation right now. Now, speaking of Kevin Nash, what did you learn about Big Sexy Cool by reading his childlike biography?
We're gonna get to this.
Yeah. So let's keep this as short as sweet as possible.
I'm not even going to get into his politics. That's
No, that's
Politics and wrestling does not mix.
Yeah, that's a recent development.
That's something. By the way, don't check out wrestlers' politics. Just don't.
Yeah,
leave it out. So you can still be happy.
Yeah.
Just leave it out.
Ignorance is just kind of bliss.
Yeah.
Well, not that you ever were a big fan of Kevin Nash in the first place, but to find out his politics is just sort of like...
That really cemented it. I mean, I hate to give you satisfaction, but,
Like,
there's just no...
I wasn't banking on him, like, on his politics leading on the alt-right, as it were. But, Jesus, fuck.
You went there, I didn't.
I went there, but, like, anyone... I think anyone with half a brain cell could figure out what we're referring to, even without...
Yeah, really. Just look up a picture of him.
Yeah,
Where the hell did I put my...
Well, you don't need the...
Yeah, I do, actually. I
Why
totally
do.
do.
Like, you genuinely don't know what happens in the book unless
No,
you...
I do know what happened in the book. I just need the book. Oh, that's what fell over here. That was in the back.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. So, you saw this on the last episode. He got me Kevin Nash.
Yeah, the childlike biography.
The partially auto is written by him and another person. It's written by Jacqueline Mudge.
Jacqueline. Oh,
Co-written with Jacqueline Mudge.
What an unfortunate name. But anyway, what did you learn?
Not the wrestler.
Yeah.
Jacqueline,
But that last name Mudge.
Yeah.
Either way.
So what did I learn about Kevin Nash? That he had a very underwhelming career. There's a lot of stuff in here about how he should never have been a wrestler and stuff like that, and apparently painting it in a way that it should be admirable that he got as far as he did.
Admirable as to get as
That basically he was a really big guy, and that helped him get places. I mean, even in his own book, as big as it is, that's basically the message here. I mean, I guess that's admirable. He knows he's being honest.
well.
Or she's being honest. I don't know.
Well,
maybe he had a different thing that he wrote and then she edited it.
Well, he kind of went on the record as saying like he's in the business to make money. Like he holds no real love for it. He realizes that when you're 7 feet tall, you can make $1 million by pretending to fight people in a ring, and like whether or not you're good at it or not is irrelevant. Especially during a time
So
like
yeah. It's,
early '90s. Yeah.
get a look at that face.
Now that's the look of a man who just had too many nachos.
Yeah.
It's it's admirable that he got as far as he did. A year long with the belt. Is it any wonder that the year he spent with the belt is on record as being the worst year for WWE by a country mile? 1995, easily the worst year in WWE history. Actually, worst for wrestling all around. It's just, 2011 is pretty bad. It's pretty goddamn bad. I mean, let's see. In 2011, John Cena was feuding with R-Truth. That should tell you where.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow, that should tell you what's up.
Mm-hmm. And that, and I think, but actually, if I were to point to one singular event as the lowest point that wrestling got during 2011, probably Victory Road. When Jeff Hardy just kind of shambled his way to the ring, stoned off his ass, and Sting had to pin him. Yeah.
So yeah, so did you know that Kevin Nash apparently, according to this, was 6'10" when he was 14? He was 6'10" when he was 14.
Then he just stopped growing because...
And then he grew 2 inches, a total of 2 inches after that.
Well, I don't know. Like,
can you imagine somebody being that big in like your freshman year of high school?
And then just stops growing. Like, did he have giantism and they just stopped it?
Yeah, like...
He had giantism, but, like, they just, like, removed his pineal gland or something?
Yeah,
or just
exactly.
removed his thyroid or something?
Seriously, like, how big would he have got?
I don't know.
But
it doesn't go into that. I'm guessing.
I don't know if that's actually accurate, but, according to this, it is.
Well, if he was 6'10" by the time he was 14 years old, then he just stopped growing, because even though everyone likes to say Kevin Nash is 7 feet tall, the wrestling business has been known to lie about how exactly big everyone is. So if that was to be true, then that means he got to be 6'10" at 14, then just immediately stopped growing. Either that or he grew another half inch. Because Andre the Giant was only like 6'11" or like 6'10". He wasn't 7 feet tall.
His record in the ring, however, was only average. True, Diesel had pinned WWF World Champion Hitman Bret Hart, but only after Bret's brother Owen had interfered on Diesel's behalf. It's riddled with moments like that. As it turned out, Michael's bodyguard could wrestle a bit, too. However, men who wrestle a bit don't win major titles.
Oh!
Right. You don't say.
I beg to differ there, Jacqueline.
Yeah.
Just for unintentional bits of comedy, I think I actually got you a pretty good gift. It took about a month to follow up on it, but yeah, you're welcome.
Didn't take that long to read it. I think I read it the following pay-per-view. I just came over here with it. I mean, there's a silver lining.
Didn't take too long.
Yeah.
All right, let's...
That's everything you need to know right here about the man Kevin Nash.
Everything you need to know.
That's everything. That's more than you need to know.
Except for his return in 2011, where he's basically just run roughshod over CM Punk.
If you really want to understand the man, just look up recent pictures of him. Particularly the shirt he's wearing. I think that says more.
Mm-hmm.
Picture's worth a lot more than this book.
I mean, I think like even though people hated it in 2011 when, or was it 2012? I forgot when Kevin Nash just basically powerbombed CM Punk and just ruined all his momentum. You know, I believe it was about a year long with the championship, or I might be getting my dates wrong. But either way, that's where I can't really hate Kevin Nash as a wrestler because he powerbombed my most hated wrestler of all time.
I need to see that, by the way. But
You really don't. It's actually kind of a letdown, but you know, it's just sort of like, you know what? I know CM Punk was completely screwed by the WWE.
I wasn't watching during that time.
Yeah.
So
He was screwed by WWE in more ways than one on either side of the business, but you know what? You made it very, very difficult for me to see things your way, Punk, and I think you know that.
yeah, I mean, I was thinking this would be good material to do an Asmer video on, wouldn't it? Kevin Nash Asmer, that'd be a first, I think.
Well, his matches certainly put you to sleep.
So that's the odds were stacked against him on April 13, 1994. There was no reason for anyone to think that the man known as Diesel had any chance of beating Razor Ramon for the World Wrestling Federation title. Fuck you.
Fuck you.
Fucking Kevin Nash pillow.
You're, you know, it is scientifically proven that if you try to sleep on a Kevin Nash pillow, you will dream of hair dye.
Moving on.
So, TLC pre-show, they changed it up a bit with keeping Booker T. Thank you. But inserting Daniel Bryan for the pre-show, along with, unfortunately, I caught in too late and I wasn't able to catch the guy's name. I think, forgive me
He's the new guy. First time I've ever seen this guy.
So yeah.
So no worries.
No worry. Yeah. Well, I'm just explaining.
We'll catch up.
Like the people who watch this are
Yeah.
you know, keep up more with everything wrestling. Like they watch the CWC, and they're probably watching 205 Live. And you know, Smart Money says that he's part of that.
No, not everybody watching this show.
But
does,
yeah,
so.
they'll generally have a better idea who that guy was. He did fine, so he didn't rub me the wrong way.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, a few things about the pre-show though. Daniel Bryan made this little remark about Heath Slater and Rhino having won every one of their matches. If I remember correctly, that wasn't the case for Survivor Series. Literally just 2 weeks ago, Brian, where Rhino was eliminated. It was actually one of the very first tag teams to be eliminated, if my memory serves.
But there's a lot of tag teams that have never lost a match.
Take this fucking thing off.
But have, yeah. So, it's all right. They people say shit all the time.
Yeah. Well, like right. In their singles competition, they won every one of their matches. All right, whatever. Booker, there was a time where Booker, like me right now, wasn't looking at the camera, wasn't nothing at all. He was literally looking down right here, saying his notes about the Roadblock pay-per-view. Which, by the way, I am surprised that they're keeping with that. That apparition of a pay-per-view that they dare call a pay-per-view back in Saturday, not back in Saturday, but back in March, I want to say, might have been February.
Back in Saturday of March.
It was the only pay-per-view I could remember ever being on Saturday that they just had for some spur of the moment, where they gave Dean Ambrose a title shot against Triple H, and then Triple H won. Big surprise there, but I just felt like, why in the world did they do this?
Yeah.
Like, nothing advanced. It was just sort of like, all right, we're just, doing something called Roadblock on a Saturday.
It's better than calling it Writer's Block.
That's certainly what it felt like. But, apparently they're keeping the name 9 months down the line and just using it as our end-of-the-year pay-per-view. What used to be TLC is now Roadblock, at least for the foreseeable future.
A huge improve in just everything the company's been doing pretty much lately since then.
Like, in a short amount of time, I have to agree. Like, March going into April was just an abysmal year. I thought 2016 was just going to be abysmal, especially the way that WrestleMania turned out. But I think that was more of a holdover from 2015.
And if all political wins outside of this have nothing to do with the the course that they're going on right now, of how they will be in 2017, that would just be great. That would just be really, really great.
I mean, wrestling's in a good place right now, I think, or at least the WWE is.
I would love to see everything keep going uphill the way it has.
Mm-hmm.
And so far it hasn't stopped. I want to see women's matches continue to get way, way better and way more. I'm not going to. It's not hardcore, but
Well,
I'd like to see.
They're
them
towing the
have-
waters. They're usually
Yeah.
towing the waters.
I'd love to see. I'd love to see that kind of action keep going.
Yeah.
Obviously, so.
Especially considering how some of these matches came out too. Last bit, I tweeted this. The first time around they aired a block. They aired a promo for the IC title, and they used a clip of Owen Hart accidentally breaking Steve Austin's neck with a pile driver back in summer. So it was SummerSlam '97.
I saw the promo after that, so they only showed. They edited it after that one. Yeah.
You know what probably happened was like they had two versions of that. And one of them said, like, why don't we do one without the actual slam? Let's just have, like, get to the clip of Stone Cold just holding
going
the
up
belt.
there with the belt. And,
Yeah, going up there with the
I
belt.
mean, he still looked terrible because,
like-
because he broke his neck, but...
He broke his fucking goddamn red neck,
But, as someone said, he was still recovered enough to be able to beat his wife, so there's that.
I love how you kind of, like, you really trailed off for the end of that punchline, too. Like, all right.
Punchline, all right.
Certainly gave the punchline to Deborah.
I mean, I'm sure he didn't give her the stunner. I mean, it's like, come on, there's beating, but it's not like he gave her the stunner.
But Chris Benoit did give his wife the crippler crossface. That did happen. That for sure happened.
We go there, so you don't have to.
Not like people haven't gone there before.
Of course they have, but just not on video.
It's wrestling.
Yeah.
It's legitimately
It's-
some of the
it's-
worst people in the world like wrestling.
But also some of the greatest in the world.
There's no such thing as an even keel wrestling fan.
Yeah.
You're either like the most like Mr. Rogers would be a wrestling fan.
Hey, that's the great thing about wrestling. It attracts all different audiences, man.
Yeah.
That's what's great. We can all, at the end of our fucked up day, just come sit down and watch people beat the shit out of each other.
Now that I mention it, Mr. Rogers being a wrestling fan is the most hilarious thing to me right now. A Presbyterian minister who pretty much since day one just talks everything out. Like he literally got Congress to fund his TV show by talking to them in a congressional meeting and got the funds. He was that persuasive. He was that kind-hearted. He was Mahatma Gandhi personified. He was like the reincarnation of Mahatma Gandhi.
Mahatma Gandhi would probably a huge wrestling fan.
You do. Like,
Yeah.
His only regret as he lay dying on his deathbed is that he would never live to see the great Kali wrestle in his native India.
Oh!
I would never see the Punjabi Playboy. I will never see the Punjabi Playboy lay the smackdown.
The very, very slow smackdown.
Well, like maybe that's it. Like he in his earnest attempt to try to wait so that Mahatma Gandhi could see his matches, he slowed down his moves. this glacial chop. Erosion moving faster than his...
Oh my god. So it's like filibuster.
Every move the great Kali did was a filibuster in length.
He was filibuster.
We've gone way off track.
way off track.
There's one last bit about Natalia. We all know that she was heel. Everyone knows she's a goddamn heel. And then they were trying to play us for suckers into thinking that she wasn't a heel. Like somehow there was a face turn that we didn't know about.
Like there was a face turn off camera around the same time that she attacked her.
Yeah, she attacked Nikki Bella. Like we all believe.
Of course she attacked Nikki Bella. I mean, honestly, it's so obvious that I feel like I would like to think it's gonna turn out it's not her.
I know what they're trying to do. Oh god, they're trying to sucker us into watching Total Divas or Total Bellas. It's like if you want to see more story details about these wrestlers.
Anybody who gets suckered into watching that shit deserves it.
It's like, I don't know what's going on in this feud. Well, that's because you don't watch Total Divas and Total Bellas. Then I will never know what's going on.
That's the kind of sucker punch where it's like, I'm gonna punch you. Do you want me to punch you?
No, punch. I punched you.
I punched you. Do you want me to do it again?
I feel like any answer I give is the wrong one.
Yes means no and no means yes. Do you want me to punch you?
Maybe.
Still gonna get punched. That's totally this.
So on the
I don't know. Maybe from the one episode I watched, it's gotten way better.
I think it's just on the steadying decline and crap. Well, the decline would imply that there was a apex. So maybe
So at least it's consistent.
so like it's just the steady stream of just
It still has divas in the name. Is that not enough proof? If they change it to like total woman, that doesn't sound very good.
no.
Total superstars, total equality with men, total equality with male superstars. I'll watch it.
Total female Americans are like the new.
Ooh, I'm a female American. That's completely terrible. Thank you. That's the worst thing I've ever heard.
I stole my own joke. Okay, like that was the joke in the Fatal Fury Double Impact review when Joe Higashi like called out Mai and she's like, "Be quiet, woman," and I just chastised the link.
I don't know. I don't watch the show.
Yeah. Screamed at like, "You insensitive dick! They prefer to be called female Americans." I'm surprised that didn't get more traction than it did. Like I was actually wondering if anyone was going to call me out on it. Nobody ever did.
Yeah, well, go watch it. Well, you
Well,
don't need to now.
Yeah.
There you go.
There we are. Okay. The first match on the card was a pre-show, the 10-man tag match featuring a bunch of people who have nothing to go forward, except for American Alpha, who just kind of feels like they're like, goddamn, this stop-start booking. I mean, I understand why like they're trying to hype up American Alpha, yet they're not doing anything. I understand why they're kind of new and they're just trying to build it up for the audience. But every time they're in a big match,
Yeah.
so, I was expecting a whole cavalcade of a bunch of tag teams that are not doing anything. Oddly enough, no Usos. That surprised me. So,
And you know what? I gotta give him credit. The Usos are. It might be the best heel tag team for me personally that I've ever experienced.
they got legit heat on you.
I mean, they sure as hell got me, man, because they've been getting me since before their heel turn. Ever since I first saw a match with them in it, I was really...
The post-star
Yeah.
porn.
They post-star porn.
Yeah. Or whatever they're chanting.
Play hard. They're worse heels now than they were before the turn, though. Because they were really good. They were really good.
They were really good at getting heat when they were faces.
Yeah.
Which I think is sort of the Roman Reigns problem. Like, if they actually did pull the
Yeah.
trigger on the heel turn, then it's just not going to be... He's just not going to get that kind of heat.
But they're also not AJ Styles heel turn. They're not... they're not the kind of heel that you just love, like AJ Styles. It's...
No.
It's just kind of... Now it just feels kind of like, okay, they're really getting the job done. I mean, I still don't root for them. I guess that's the kind of the best ideal place to be in for a heel, is that, people don't, you're not so bad that the people love you. You're not so, how do I say, they're also not like ironically bad.
No.
They're
like,
just legitimately heel.
Yeah, like, as far as pure heel is concerned, they are easily the best on the roster.
Kind of like where the Miz was a little prior to now.
Yeah.
Where he was just like, oh no, it's the fucking Miz.
Like,
but I know that's the point. I mean, so...
So, it's sort of a give and take.
And now you got Miz with, the Johnny Cage, actual
Yeah.
Johnny Cage development, which is awesome, where we have been wanting him to go to for so many years. But we'll get to that.
But now we're talking about a tag team that wasn't even on the goddamn show. So
I mean, we've gotten to that. That's old news.
yeah. So Pipe Bros, American Alpha, and Apollo Crews.
Pipe Bros.
The Pipe Bros.
The Pipe Bros.
The prototype. The prototype, like the prototype to the Mario Brothers.
They go into the ring and they lay pipe.
They go, and they always enter like.
And they throw great pipe bombs.
And Apollo Crews, because what's he doing? versus the Vaudevillains, the Ascension. The Ascension, which I am surprised to
Did
find
you
out
have to
are
say
still.
the Ascension?
I had to say it twice, like
That they're still a thing.
that they're still a thing.
That they're ascending, I guess.
And Kurt Hawkins.
And Kurt Hawkins.
They tricked us into liking it. They tricked us into
liking Kurt Hawkins.
Yeah. But anyone who remembers his brief stint in the WWE before he came back, I don't know. Like
I don't.
Like he was such a blip off the radar for me personally that I kind of forgot that he was on the roster once upon a time ago. I mean, if that's anything.
So what they did was they basically gave him a Chuck Norris promo where they have all these facts. If you haven't seen, you probably likely have. I'm probably just repeating what they said. But he, his entrance or his promotions as well, his promos before were just stating out random facts about him. Ludicrous facts like what was a good one that I mean, some of them were taken directly like from Chuck Norris, I think.
Yeah, it was just
every Chuck Norris one has been done.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, like there's no. It was such a bad gimmick that it kind of did the whole went back to being good.
Yeah,
like. It was that was the mind games they played with us. That was WWE mind games. Like, let's just do something so bad that all the hipster smarks out there are just gonna love it.
Yeah, and they even had a tiny bit of queer baiting with him too.
A little bit.
It was good.
But then it just kind of fell apart by the. It's sort of like I love this analogy when it comes to situations like this. It's sort of like the Bluesmobile when it finally arrives at the Daily Plaza and it just falls apart.
That's exactly what
that's a great analogy.
And honestly, that's how they wrote it. Because it's not like he was lacking any of the charisma to pull it off, I don't think.
No,
they just didn't give him any good material.
He's just not that good of a wrestler.
And I mean, it's also I'm not even entirely sure that because he's not a good wrestler. It's just they didn't have him do him very much. I mean, it's not like I don't think he had any actual botches or anything. They just he goes in there and he kind of gets squashed and that's it.
Yeah, well, it's sort of like almost the opposite problem. Well, in the same problem, but in an opposite way with Bobby Roode. Like you got that great intro, you got that great everything else, but when he wrestles, it's always sort of underwhelming.
It's underwhelming. It's still better than watching a Kurt Hawkins match.
Yeah,
but
it's like the gimmick that Kurt Hawkins had doesn't match what you see in the ring, and the intro of Bobby Roode does not match what you see in the ring.
Also, Bobby Roode is cut.
Bobby Roode's cut.
Like he's got the look, and he may. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, but that's all part of the intro though. Like the whole he looks like a man who walks out to trumpeting choruses of I am victorious.
Yeah,
he looks like that guy. But then in the ring, it's kind of.
He could be in 203. You
mean
302? 303.
You mean there we
203.
203.
101 Spartans.
101 Spartans.
Hey, look, it was 200 at a certain point during the battle.
Oh yeah, but that number didn't last very long. Once it starts falling.
I mean, neither did 300 or 120. So.
But yeah, so. But aside from our things on Kurt Hawkins and Bobby Roode to a lesser extent, this is actually a fairly fun match for a pre-show.
Now I want to start reviewing NXT because God, there's some good stuff to review.
Well, yeah, it's good stuff, but goddamn, there's so many hours in the day.
Yeah.
So outside of Apollo Crews reminding everyone that there is a reason why he still has a job, and that's because he's great in the ring. If only he developed a personality.
Oh, he doesn't have to remind us why he still has a job. It's obvious whenever he steps into the ring that he deserves.
Yeah, no, but here's the thing. I think that he's such a forgettable personality that you do kind of forget about him, even though him in the ring is so awe-inspiring. He does a standing leapfrog. Standing leapfrog. He can literally jump over somebody charging at him without any momentum behind him whatsoever.
He can just turn around. It's like, oh, you're coming. Okay, well, I'll just do fucking leapfrog 10 feet in the air. Just pull that right out of my ass.
Yeah, that is amazing athleticism, and that is so much fun to see. And my God, some of the spots in this match from the people who were doing it are so unbelievable. Who in the fuck thinks Zack Ryder could do a fucking guillotine neck breaker? Were you expecting that?
I wasn't expecting Zack Ryder to do anything outrageous.
But a guillotine, I'm kind of a mark for the guillotine. Because I always,
Yeah.
yeah, I love the idea. I love the idea that somebody is literally like a pendulum, goes up and completely over another person, and then on the way down, just neck breaker. Like I wanted that to be like a finisher when I was a kid.
It was a good, yeah.
Now I want
And
like
now you got it.
yeah. I wanted that to be a neck. I wanted that to be a like down for the count. Bam.
Oh, well, it's still not a finisher.
It's not a finisher. It's a signature.
But,
well,
yeah,
not even a
not
signature.
even, well, who knows? I don't even know what exactly is. What exactly is Heath Slater's finisher?
I don't know. I think it's something. No, that.
I don't even know.
Like that's the thing. Like even though Heath Slater got over because of his backstory,
Like maybe he
not his wrestling ability.
reminds you as kids and
Yeah, like and he got you to care about him, and that's good. And that's like Apollo Crews can't do that.
No, I mean maybe that's his finisher.
He's good kids. That's gonna finish him.
Yeah, like this. I don't know.
Like
maybe his kids come into the
some
ring. It's
heel-
like a lumberjack match.
No, like some heel persona literally kidnaps him, and he's tied them up, and he's got to win a ladder match to get him back. Sort of like that Rey Mysterio Eddie Guerrero fight when they had to fight for custody over the son. But instead of it being a paper, like inside a briefcase, they're literally dangling him from the top of the ropes from the scaffold.
I would love to. I don't know. But I really would like to. I think a lumberjack match with his kids surrounding the ring would be something. He's got enough of them.
Here's an idea. And we could do it like the pinata match in WCW because he has more than one kid. So they have to.
Oh my God.
Each of the posts has his kid.
But some of them aren't the kid. And you don't know which ones. So you could be beat. It's like Schrodinger's Heath Slater's kid.
Exactly. Like
Schrodinger's children.
Schrodinger's children. Exactly. Yeah. Oh, and just to really overbook it, it's also a Russian chain match.
Ooh.
You got to so he's got to touch all 4 kids in order to get his kids back, but the other guy's like touching the kids, so now they're his kids. So you got to touch all 4 kids, and then you win custody.
Where were we? Where the hell
we
were
didn't we didn't even.
Hey, you know what? It's okay for us to go off like this because it is a kind of short event. So
Yeah, but the match starts. Some great spots here and there. Mojo Rawley completely spazzing out, looking like he is trying to swat an invisible fly before he just does a sit-out axe handle.
I've been saying this about him the whole time, man, since I've been watching him in NXT, and even when they started to bury him. Like they really started to bury him hard in NXT after a while.
Oh yeah.
He even had a brief time where people were booing the crap out of him. And I felt terrible because the guy goes in there and gives it 120%.
Yeah, I mean, like he's not the most technically proficient, or even like he does a lot of goofy ass shit.
He does this. He does the freaking like.
He does a lot of goofy ass shit that nobody really likes, but he does it. He just does it because it entertains him. And in a weird
stop hammer time.
Yeah, like he just does this to entertain himself. And in a wrestling world where everyone's taught to not listen to the crowd, to the crowd is following you. You're not following the crowd. That's what most wrestlers' psychology is fundamentally built upon. In comes this guy who just says, "I'm not even going to entertain the other guy in the ring. I'm just dancing with like I don't have any pants on and just entertaining myself."
Yeah, he's got like MC Hammer pants and shit. Yeah.
Like if anyone else is around the ring to watch me do it, so be it. I'd be doing this alone in my room if I was being able to be paid for it.
You know what? That's what it is. He's like a big kid, man. He's just out there having fun. Oh God, it's like we left Mojo alone, and it was only 32.
It's just but outside of that, the only real spots left in the match was the top rope party, where it just seems like everyone and everything was being sent over the top rope, like the quickest battle royal you've ever seen in the world. Like one guy gets one top over, then he gets that thrown over, then he gets that over, then all the faces throw the heels over the top rope, and it's a big old party, and everyone's having fun and laughing at how goofy it was.
They really did do that. I think I didn't count every single one of them, but I think it must have been a good solid 20 people getting thrown over the rope consecutively, back to back. Mm-hmm. Just whoop. And then the next guy, whoop, and then he gets thrown over, whoop, and then he gets thrown over by the next guy. It was just ridiculous. And then everybody gets it at one time. It's like, I shouldn't be enjoying this because it's so stupid, but it's hilarious. It's hysterical.
It's hysterical. It's you know, a lot of what if we keep bringing up the patron saint Cornette when he said like a lot of problems in wrestling are built around the fact that nobody believes in wrestling anymore. To which I would argue, no, I don't think wrestling has a believability problem. I think wrestling has a
Believability has a wrestling problem.
no. I think people are willing to extend their belief over whether or not what they're doing is legitimate or not.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, nobody in the world is thinking like, oh, they really hate each other or they're really trying to kill each other. And to be honest, wrestling is better for it.
Yeah, but I mean, but it also makes the few rare times where there actually is real beef in real life.
Yeah,
Like that's
you know, and
that
like,
makes those moments all the more shocking and amazing
and like in the shoot moments as it were.
horrific.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
we just covered a shoot moment with Brock and the slicing elbows. But
Yeah.
I go back to like, but instances like this are just sort of like we're all in on the joke of wrestling, because wrestling is silly. I mean, it's a tough sport. It is a sport. It requires a great deal of athleticism and training and psychology, and it requires so much out of an individual to do something to look so that is fundamentally silly to do.
Yeah.
To fake fight.
Yeah.
That is, you know, and it's nice for people to realize that what we're doing is silly. We're doing it as seriously as possible, but, you know, every once in a while, let's all draw the curtain back and realize what we're all doing and what we're all spending our time and money and energy on. It's just, hey, let's be fucking ridiculous sometimes.
Yeah. It's a good throwback too. You know?
Mm-hmm. So, you know, like moments like that, if spaced far enough between them, I can appreciate.
Absolutely.
And I
I
think
can agree with that.
anything else that really? Unfortunately, American Alpha botched a tag spot towards the end where it looked like Gable was not supposed to tag. Was it Chad or was it Gable?
I believe it was Gable.
No, was it Chad?
Well, let's put it this way: the two of them were supposed to not connect.
Not connect,
They
but
did.
But yeah, but Gable
Yeah.
clearly. No, it was Jordan. Sorry, I said like Chad Gable is one guy. Jordan.
Oh, you were asking me if the name was
Like,
Jason or Jason. Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
I was
Jason
asking,
Jordan and Chad Gable.
yeah, like I was asking if it was Jordan or was it Gable who was on the Ascension shoulders and
Okay,
accidentally
that's what I thought.
made the tag when he wasn't supposed to make the tag. But either way, it was.
Yeah.
It's one of those moments like the cameras caught it. The cameras caught that clearly made a tag, but then Jordan didn't rush into the ring and start laying down pain because that wasn't his cue. So, but like everyone in the audience, especially in the back rows, didn't catch it.
I would rather have that kind of botch than the one where they don't make the tag and they just come into the ring because it's their turn. That's awkward.
Oh god, that happened to.
I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you. Enzo Amore.
And
Sasha Banks was his partner at the time. Of all people, you would think, oh, Cass and Enzo, but no, this was a particular event where, oh man, I'm so sad. But this was where they were trying him out like without Cass, and that was really embarrassing. Sasha Banks, really was a boss that night, and she just was like, fuck this shit. I'm just going into the ring and doing this. I mean, because what else can she do?
Not after that.
And then you just see, Enzo just crawling to the car. It's like, fuck.
It's like
I didn't even try to make the tag. I didn't even get close.
yeah,
She just was like, fuck it, I'm going in. Moments like that are much worse.
And we had our moments. We certainly had our moments of embarrassment.
Yeah.
Tonight, with the peaks come the valleys, but the valleys thankfully weren't too low. But before we get to the main card, by the way, American Alpha won by pinning again the Vaudevillains. It's just like the Vaudevillains are just become like, well, we need to get a tag team over. Get the Vaudevillains out.
Yeah.
The biggest jobber tag team working. But
going from like a huge temporary, very small push, or a huge small push. Yeah, for a very brief amount of time, they were the tag team champions
in NXT,
So-
and then like they were the number one contenders for and then Payback happened, and
Yeah.
then Payback's a bitch. Before the main card started, there was this really weird and completely bizarre promo for TLC, where it likened tables, ladders, and chairs as obstacles to overcome, and this caused you a kind of one of your deepest philosophical moments I remember you ever having, where they said,
Please, and it was wrestling that brought this out in me.
"Yeah,
Really?
because."
That's how deep I am. Is that it takes place?
No. You made a legit point that I never would have thought to ask, but there you are. They made a point to they pontificated like assholes about how these objects, prove a man's integrity and blah blah blah, and then you quite rightly asked, how can an inanimate object represent integrity? They're not a sorting hat. It's like, to my dying day, I'll always remember that question you made, and that was.
It's not like you climb the ladder and then they tell you the kind of caliber of a man you are.
So like some kind of meter that you just kind of, with every rung of the ladder you get up, you achieve more and more success.
Yeah.
Especially not in a wrestling context.
I mean, it's maybe that's why it's so hard to climb those ladders and to get the belt. Because by the time you get to the top, you're faced with the reality of your situation, and maybe you don't even. It's not worth it anymore.
Nope, not in the slightest.
But
let's move on to.
Oh, how about us? How about that Simon Gotch gam?
Oh, not the first time we see a wrestler's ass.
But one of the more notable times.
One of the more notable times. Simon, I know that you're a fan, and I'm a fan as well of you. I mean, but
yes, indeed.
But your strongman leotard rides up a little high on you. Got a little bit of that butt crease showing.
And I think I appreciate that. I appreciate that because the women have to do it.
Yeah, so
have to do it.
So as long I think you know what's up with that, but
we certainly do.
It's like, are you trying to give us a signal here, Simon?
I mean, they did very nice thighs. Very nice.
Yeah. By the way, I saw your tweet post a few months back talking about having a Mexican plate at a taqueria just on Mendocino.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's yeah.
And if you wouldn't have invited me to go with you, I would have been very sad.
Yeah.
But
no. Like he was there. He was in town when he was still up in NXT.
Yeah.
And I just didn't know it, and I didn't. And I would have like please, man, I would have loved to have share a burrito or something like that, dude. Even though
maybe get body slammed. I mean,
I don't know.
Optional. It's optional.
Optional. Put me in a headlock.
Yeah.
All right. Look at me. You need. Something tells me you need to get your aggression out on somebody. I'm a willing object.
We will be happy to put you over.
Mm-hmm.
We would be happy to.
But let's actually get to the main card. Randy Orton, Bray Wyatt versus Heath Slater and Rhino for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. And wonder of wonders, Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton win. Not only
wonder of wonders. Not Randy Orton's side, but on Bray Wyatt's side. Holy shit, he just got a belt? An actual belt? It's not a replica, it's not a fake, it's not like this isn't a joke.
Like, he's got a belt. And
not like this belt. Not like a...
Like
he got a real belt.
Bray Wyatt on the main card as Bray Wyatt, not as Husky Harris, but as Bray Wyatt spent years on the main card, feuding with some of the biggest stars. John Cena, Roman Reigns, the Undertaker, Kane, biggest names on the card. He did not need to get a belt to get over, and yet finally. He's in a match that was up for a title, which in of itself is, I can't even remember the last time, if he ever was on a match for a belt. I don't know. I've never, can't remember that. It might have happened, but I didn't remember. Not only is he, but nevertheless, not only was he in a match for a belt, he won. I mean, thanks to Randy Orton and his family's shenanigans, but he's heel, so, that's just part of the territory.
Yeah, but,
But
Wow, good on him.
Good on him.
I'm glad to see him moving up, finally getting actual,
Okay.
physical representations of all he's done in the business.
Yeah,
which
and-
is a lot.
and
He is incredible.
he is finally getting some traction underneath his feet, and he needs that. If he's
He
going-
deserves a title belt. He deserves the WWE title belt,
I mean, like
whichever one.
As far as the hierarchy goes, as far as the heels on SmackDown, at first it's technically AJ, even though I think right now, like, he is so
Yeah.
over that he can be a tweener. Even though he does heel things, nobody's ever going to outright just boo him. So, like, by technicality, he's the top heel, but just under him, like, if actual pure heel, is The Miz. But he's sort of, kind of coming around to this area where people don't necessarily want to boo him.
He got a lot of Miz chants.
Yeah. We'll cover more of that when we get to his match with old Ziggy Poo. But
Colonel Ziggler.
but there is Bray Wyatt. Easily, like, there is no ifs, ands, or buts about him. There is no way he's going to get cheered outside of, like, finally he won, because people want to like him as a heel, which is perfectly good territory for him. But
I can see him getting cheered pretty easily. I'm pretty sure he has.
well, it's not like Bray Wyatt can go to, like, his hometown and then get, like, his hometown cheers, because he's not from anywhere. So he doesn't really have
Unknown.
parts unknown. Like,
Yeah.
they're like, even if you want to stretch the believability,
Wyattville.
like, even if you want the Wyatt compound, like, they're going back to the Wyatt. they're
Dude,
going.
I think that would be awesome if you had an entire. I'll let you get that out.
Yeah,
But
I'm good.
but yeah, I mean, it's like I should be on coffee, man. Had a ghost pepper. That's how hot this pay-per-view was.
Oh yeah, he literally spit out fire.
Like, well, yeah, this pay-per-view was so hot. I knew that this was the best time to have a ghost pepper because it wouldn't be comparable.
yeah, it's just
Yeah.
like,
It was like, wow, this isn't even like, this is cool. But yeah, so I think it would be really awesome to have an entire audience represent the Wyatt compound by wearing the sheet masks and stuff.
well, they tried to do that for WrestleMania 30, which,
Did they like give them out for free?
yeah, like there were like sheet masks especially for the matches leading up to.
Yeah.
WrestleMania.
Then again, you can't force everybody to wear sheet masks.
Yeah. Like, you
Yeah.
can wear, like, you can't, just like you can't force people to wave their phones during the intro
Yeah.
of the song. But other than that, though,
Bray Wyatt looking built.
yeah, like
He always was, but now he keeps getting, his shoulders keep getting bigger.
yeah. I love how WWE suddenly just, like, gear shifted on him, and now he's winning matches.
It's about bloody time.
About fucking time, and no better way to legitimize him than to go after Heath Slater and Rhino, and this works out in a multiple of ways because it couldn't have been American Alpha. I mean, as much as we want American Alpha to win the medal, we can't celebrate their good times by beating, another face team. So, they need heels to go against for those belts. And what better heels right now than Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton?
Yeah.
But some spots in this match that really stood out to me. But you know what? Not actually. This match was so quick, and so pretty much like the Wyatts just decimated.
Yeah.
That there really wasn't much room for spots, but the ring work that I really appreciated. Like, the Wyatt family has adopted this mentality of just absorbing blows for each other. Like,
Yeah,
with Luke
everybody
Harper.
is just doing a.
And I like that. I like the idea that they're acting like a family. They're all taking blows. They're all taking blows for each other, and everyone's the paladin. They're all just kind of like, no, I can take this blow, but you cannot.
Oh, we're not even like wearing anything anymore.
No, like I took
There we
that
go.
off as soon as I took
That's
off.
like way easier to.
Yeah. Last thing I wanted to say before we moved on from solid work on the tag team match was Tom Phillips. What the fuck are you doing on commentary? You look like JBL's ventriloquist dummy. It's like, hey J-Bull,
How are you enjoying how are you enjoying TLC?
why, I enjoy it just fine there, Tom Phillips. Here, why don't you sing while I drink some water?
Oh, what a merry day for it is today for a table, ladder, chair match.
Those improv classes are working wonders, Gabe.
I know.
But what, Tom Phillips? I know it's not your fault, but I hate your face. I don't want you on my TV. Move. That's all I got. I'm just gonna force Gump the situation. That's all I gotta say about that. I hate your face.
I don't have any real anger towards him at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But
I
I don't really care.
Another segment behind the stage segment for.
I am wondering if they're going to keep getting more announcers though. They got 4.
It's going to.
I remember
they're like Happy Meal toys. Vince can't have enough of them.
Do you remember what there were 2? You remember there were 2, and then when one of them couldn't make it, it was 1 sometimes even.
Well, Jim Ross can carry a show on his own just fine. Moralo, he has such a tongue twister of a name. I know I'm mispronouncing it, but you all know what I'm talking about. He has a great voice and he has great enthusiasm, but I don't think he can carry carry an entire match, let alone an entire card on his own.
Yeah.
So I feel that's kind of like he needs another person. I don't even mind JBL's commentary most of the time but that's only because he's picking on Otunga, and when he's not picking on Otunga, back when he was on Raw and he was making fun of Byron Saxton.
Yeah.
God, those were great times. He was sort of like my totem. You know, he was there as an avatar of me and what I would say to David Otunga and Byron Saxton if I knew that they were within earshot.
It's like imagine if it was just me here.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Like, so we got some matches to cover, and Dolph Ziggler's in a match.
Let me explain to you all for the 85th time why I'm not a Dolph Ziggler fan.
Let me, let's...
But, we were talking about this backstage segment where they're building up heat for the main card match, for the main event. And I don't know, like, ever since Dean Ambrose started wearing those giant novelty hats, I keep wanting him to do it.
Oh, he did the Monty recently.
He literally had the Turd Ferguson hat for a segment, and he's like, it's Turd Ferguson. It's giant foam hat, it's funny. And I just keep wanting him to wear new hats. And here's the thing.
For different emotions, like a mood hat.
Like a mood hat. Like when he's frustrated with himself, he wears a Viking helmet. When he's feeling especially prankish, he wears a scuba diving goggles instead and snorkel.
What kind of hat is he going to wear on the next SmackDown?
I don't know. Considering how...
What would he wear?
What would he wear? I would think he would wear...
What's the revenge hat?
He would wear a Pope's mitre. I think that's just like he needs to feel pious, and he also wants to give himself the illusion of height. So it's either that or Abraham Lincoln's stovepipe hat. Like every week, it's a new silly hat. Like,
wait, who did he free?
Well, in a certain way, he kind of freed. Spoilers. He kind of freed Ellsworth from his friendship life.
Who thought that their friendship would last just as long as Kevin Owens and Jericho?
Certainly not me.
Or at least going forward.
Now I'm just picturing, like, holidays, like when it gets towards President's Day, he comes out wearing a tri-corner hat, like George Washington style.
Oh, my God.
No, he wears, like, a powdered wig, like a George Washington
He
wig.
had a hat for his hat.
Well, here's the thing. Every time somebody asks about the hat, he's just like, what hat? Never tries to draw attention to the hat.
Never.
Dean Ambrose, please, wear silly hats more often.
It has nothing to do with your messy hairdo. We like that just fine.
We like that just fine, but just like you, every time we see you chilling out backstage, you're wearing a new hat for no one else's entertainment but your own.
We know you can't wrestle in them,
unless you wear like the, I've always said this about Eugene. The only thing that kept him from being over with me is that he doesn't have the retard helmet. He never had like a bicycle helmet that says, I'm a lucky devil on top. God don't make no trash or something like something ironic. Made in America, Just really like terrible.
But yeah,
Please, WWE Creative, call my number. I'm very easy to get into contact with. You have a list of...
Shameless.
I am shameless, but if I can make my wrestling dreams a reality, taking these athletes that spend years training their bodies to withstand the endeavors of wrestling asks from them, and then they come to me and saying, in this match you're going to be wearing goose feathers. Why? Because I'm the boss of creative. Do it! And then I just and then I hold like I'm like Commissioner Foley. I have this gigantic foam hammer that I use as my gavel. Boom!
Moving on. Commissioner Sage.
I'm telling you, like, this would be if I ever reached a point in my fame and career that I could be a wrestling personality just for the sake of like hey, here's a celebrity on WWE. I would love to just be a fly on the wall who just annoys everyone and gets into everyone's business and just insert my persona and then gather heat and then make their lives more miserable. I mean, I don't do that nearly enough as I do it now today, especially on my show.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. You didn't give me enough dead arm.
All right. So what we thought was going to be the winner of the surprisingly good match of the night, while still being surprisingly good, we'll go to another match further down the card. But right now, we're talking Carmella versus Nikki Bella in a no DQ match. Now, we didn't exactly know what the DQ stipulation was going to be, because it's kind of, it could go either way.
Apparently there is still ring out.
Which I don't get.
And there is still submission.
Wait, no, I get that. I get submissions, because, you still have to honor the rules of, like, how do you win a match? Mm-hmm. You either tap out or you get pinned.
But there were other matches that did not have submission. There was no submission, no...
Oh yeah, like the ladders.
Falls count anywhere.
The only match stipulation that still you can submit is a chairs match, as far as the night's events unfolded. But either way, we weren't sure how this match was going to play out with the stipulation in mind, because we didn't know how they were going to use that stipulation. But then we got our answer. Carmella whips out a kendo stick, and there began probably a series of just we got hyped for that match as soon as that kendo stick came out.
Yeah.
Because again, kids of the Attitude Era. We see a
kendo stick, we get an erection.
Yeah, because I think I explained before, I'm a kendo stick mark because I know for a fact that there's no way to swing that thing and for it to not hurt.
And then she takes it and turns it around and starts swinging it with the handle first.
Yeah.
Like, the kendo stick hurts enough. I mean, now look, I've never beaten someone with a kendo stick or been beaten by one.
But I do feel at certain points during our shoots that you wish that wasn't the case. You just want to reach underneath my bed, just grab a kendo stick that just happens to be there, and just fucking. This is for every second I have to be in that cold ocean, Sage.
That wrestling episode is gonna be good. It's gonna be good.
Either way.
It's gonna be glorious. But yeah, she starts beating the shit out of Carmella with the handle end of a kendo stick, which I don't think I need to know much about kendo sticking to understand that that's gonna hurt more. Way more.
But yeah, this was a surprisingly brutal match.
Yeah.
And it ended with a spot that I haven't, it gave me reminders of WrestleMania, was it WrestleMania 29? No, it was 31. I forgot which.
It was a WrestleMania.
It was a WrestleMania. Remember when Triple H came out in what he thought was going to be, what he thought it was just going to be simple fog, but it turned out to be dry ice.
Oh.
And then he got his
yeah.
sides completely coated with that. He got second degree burns from that, and most of all, it looks like he got frosted, so everyone thought it was a big old joke. But
So apparently he's a big old pussy.
So he's a big old pussy. Look at those second degree burns that ice is forming on his gut. He's barely wincing. What a complete wuss. That's sort of like the ultimate nexus of awful when it comes to wrestling spots. It looks terrible, it's extremely painful, and it only makes you out to look like a fool. So,
But apparently he's a big old pussy because they went ahead and did that as an actual planned spot.
yeah, well, it's even worse. Well, some of them worse because every time they pull out this fire extinguisher and fire it on, it's like we all know it's really, really cold. But they're, most wrestlers. I've seen it happen to people in suits. I've seen it happen to,
I know.
like it looks like their body's covered.
Hey,
in
let's
something.
not downplay what happened here tonight. That was fucked up.
Oh yeah, like when Carmella took a blast from the fire extinguisher, and she's not wearing nothing. Like she has her abs exposed and her shoulders exposed.
1 blast, 2 blasts, 3 blasts, 4 blasts, like 5 blasts, maybe more, 6, 7 fucking blasts from that thing.
Nikki Bella emptied the can on her. She literally emptied a can of whoop ass on her.
Like, look at what happened to Triple H, and then watch this shit.
Yeah, you could literally see the ice was starting. Like there was a good solid.
It was encrusted on her, and
like Carmella was quickly to get that shit off me as fast as possible.
And we are still talking about women's wrestling, where they do still care a little bit more about the epidermal damage than the men do.
Yeah,
They do.
Yeah, they do.
Because that still is a thing.
Yeah, I mean, not every female wrestler could be Luna. Where
Yeah.
she could get away with that.
No, she was awesome.
Yeah.
That was a cool gimmick.
That was I think she remains to be the only women's wrestler who just does not give a shit about not being pretty.
I mean, yeah. I mean, Nia Jax is, a total beast.
A fire plug of a woman.
Yeah.
Still wears makeup.
But she does still wear, eyeliner and makeup.
Makeup, yeah.
Even though her gimmick is that she just eats other women alive.
Her gimmick is that she's not like other girls.
Yeah. She's not like most girls.
She's not like most girls. Still wears makeup though.
Yeah.
But regardless, that was still a huge spot. Just on the sake of like taking that blast of cold. Whew, that was surprise. This was a surprisingly brutal match and a surprisingly good spot fest too.
Yeah.
Like there's great bits here. There was like the elevated roundhouse kick that Nikki Bella did off the center divider. She just she almost guiled flash kicked her right in the fucking head. It was great. This is
this is in the short match that was way better than the Hell in a Cell match.
Yeah. I mean, like, all right. That match had a lot more heat behind it. I mean, it was sort of like
a lot more hype. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot more heat and hype, and then it just kind of. But this was sort of like, oh.
I'd much rather have a small match, a short match that I wasn't expecting anything great from at all, and then it really surprises you, and then have all that hype behind a huge event that was the first time in history and everything else. I mean, this was the first time I think that a woman's used a fire hydrant on another woman.
Fire extinguisher.
Fire hydrant.
Hummel
fire extinguisher, not fire.
Like if this was Fallout 3 with the gigantic mutant with the fucking cudgel made out of a fire hydrant.
Just rebar. But yeah. No. This was the. But yeah, this where was I? Where the hell was I?
You were explaining how you would prefer a match.
I prefer a tiny,
tiny,
unexpected, great match like that over all that hype for something that was just so. I'm gonna say, a lot of people were really, really understanding and nice about it. Fuck that shit. It was embarrassing. That's just what it was. It was embarrassing, and the people involved, I'm sure they understand it just fine. Mm-hmm. And you know what? They fucking made up for it tonight. Or not tonight, but on Raw. Last Raw.
On the last Raw, but I think they should have made up for it on a pay-per-view.
They should have made up for it at a pay-per-view. That's why I get it mixed up, because it's like, why did they do that on Raw?
Because once again, they're hot potatoing that belt, but that's not
that happened again.
But that's
But that's
Raw. But that's Raw. We're talking SmackDown. Any other great spots around here? The handle side slap. I said handle side slap, but I'm trying to remember the context of that. Oh God, it's
what you got there?
Right before the elevator roundhouse kick, and right after she whipped out the kendo stick.
Oh,
I was talking about how she flipped it over, and then
I think I already covered that.
Yeah, we already covered that.
I preempted.
So yeah, you did.
I preempted the list.
The list of Sage.
Yeah.
But the one detraction away from this match, Nikki wins, walks out victorious. Everyone's cheering. Then all of a sudden, Carmella drops the Bomb and saying, it wasn't me who hit you backstage. It wasn't the
Hornswoggle! The camera was really low, if you recall.
Oh, yeah.
It was like Beaver Cam.
If it was Hornswoggle, I would have laughed my fucking ass
I
off.
know.
Because everyone and their mother knew it was fucking
Who
Natalia.
else could it be, though? Because it was so low to the ground. What was Natalia, like, crawling with it on her back or something? What the fuck was it doing down there? Or was it the guy with the camera actually following her, but, like...
I guess it was that, I don't know.
Like, we gotta get this angle from down here. It's just for effect.
Because all the cameramen, I guess, were around ringside. They weren't, they were just focused on that. And then poor fucking...
But of
not
course
poor,
it was
like,
fucking Natalia.
yeah. Fucking, of course. So, we just kind of rolled our eyes at that. It's like, yes, of fucking course. And then, like, can we move on from this embarrassing bit of booking, please?
I was really hoping she was gonna say someone else.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, that would just prolong it out because it eventually would have to go back to being Natalia. And that would just mean more of this cringing through, yeah, it's not really her.
Mm-hmm. Now, here is where this is where it kind of gets weird for me. Because the next match on the card...
2 dragons?
5 dragons.
Oh.
But, 3 dragons. 3 dragons, considering Maurice. But Dolph Ziggler versus The Miz.
Recline Mercy Dragon.
I can call her a whole lot worse things.
Like
Dolph
Queen of Dragons.
Ziggler versus The Miz. Ladder match for the IC title. Now, on one hand, this was kind of a plotting match. But that's also a Miz match.
It's not a mismatch, but
it's a Miz match, rather. A Miz match. So, like, you get what you get with Miz. And he's a persona-driven wrestler.
He came to play.
Yeah, he came to play, and, for what he does it fine, and he gets plenty of heat, and he does his job. And I don't know exactly how or where his story will end, because he keeps calling out Daniel Bryan, he keeps making fun of him, and keeps emasculating him, and
we all know the only way for feuds like that to end is in wrestling matches.
it's because this has to be building to something, and there's just like Daniel Bryan, he's not wrestling anymore. He keeps seeing specialists, and they're all telling him, no, you just can't do it. Your brain's turned into mashed potatoes. You're lucky that you can form coherent sentences. So,
and there's no way that's an angle.
And there's no way that's an angle. So I have no idea where this is being led to. But it's gotten to the point where Miz is literally getting people to do Miz. Because
I couldn't believe that. We're talking about lost in translation.
Yeah.
What the fuck? So Daniel Bryan starts a yes chant.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Eventually it becomes a no chant. And then it goes back to a yes chant. And then the Miz feuds with him and starts mocking him with the chant. And then people start taking up the Miz, start taking up the chant with Miz. Like, whoa, what the fuck? This is all kinds of weird.
Yeah, it's...
Do people even know what the hell they're doing?
I would assume so, because they had to know why they were booing when he did that.
I mean, if I could just ask one of the people in the audience, like, hey, I saw you doing the Miz chant. What does that mean exactly when you're saying Miz, but with the yes chant? Is there... I don't fucking know, man. He's Miz.
He's Miz. And
he does it.
And he came to play.
He came to play, man.
Yeah, and crushed skulls with finales.
Yeah.
Now, as it is, like, Spoonie went on like this fucking tirade against this match. He was just fucking like, just hated this fucking match.
Yeah.
And for an oddly enough, even though this is very current WWE, persona-driven wrestling, it's very old school in terms of, like, heel wrestling 101. Submission holds, using objects and trying to take any advantage. And it ends with the typical heel win, where he just nut shots him twice. Ziggler goes down in writhing pain. He grabs the IC title and then cuts a promo saying, like, I dedicate this to fucking Daniel Bryan because I legitimize this IC title.
And it was a good promo.
It was a fine promo. And then it just cuts to Ziggler looking utterly defeated. It just...
No, he was just dead.
He
wasn't moving at all.
It looked like he was about to shit an accountant. He was in the middle.
Yeah.
He was in the middle of, like, the 5-day backed up shit. Like if he lowered his trunk, like if he was lowering his trunks and then squatting one out, it would just be like that Indian rope trick. It would just.
They had to, yeah, they had to roll him up and just get him out
Oh god.
because he wasn't moving. But
Yeah, that.
I'll give Spoonie this. Miz matches are very formulaic,
Formulaic and
and they don't have. I have to be honest. I've never been a big fan. I mean, a lot of people are not a huge fan. Daniel Bryan is
obviously.
not a fan of his matches. They are kind of. There's not a lot of surprise to be had.
Mm-hmm.
He kind of does most of the same moves. Doesn't really.
You know, he does submission holds. He does this. He does that, and
It's not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just makes it kind of hard to. And he has a heel, so I guess that's kind of par for the course. But it also feels a lot of the times like the person he's wrestling with is also somehow limited by that as well.
yeah, like you could obviously tell that Ziggler wants to do more, but he's kind of limited by what like you need a partner to dance with, and if your partner can't do a move, then guess what? You can't do a move.
Yeah.
So Ziggy Poo is just sort of at a loss for words, but that doesn't mean he's not selling his ass off. Whenever he
Chomping at the bit.
to
to do something.
Yeah. And this whole situation just kind of proves like it really does diminish his win back at Backlash when
Yeah.
he won, and no, it was No Mercy. Yeah, it was No Mercy, not Backlash. No Mercy. On one hand, he needed that win, but on the other hand, Miz needed to win the feud, and this can't go on. So, I don't know where Ziggler goes from here, but I'm hoping it's up the card. I just want to see where the fuck this Miz angle is going. I just like
this Miz Daniel Bryan angle.
this needs to come to a head at some point or another, because right now it's just spinning the wheels in the mud. Some tasty spots because ladder match, how can it not? A lot of the spots having to do with just chucking the ladder at each other and then using the ladder for submission holds. Like there was this great moment where Miz used the ladder's leg to basically squash Ziggler's nuts, doing a figure four. But he was driving the way he was putting his weight on the ladder leg. It looked like he was driving the ladder right into his bulge, and that just if that didn't hurt enough, these two men you felt like they were in a war, and it was a long and plotting match, but it was one where it felt like everything mattered.
Yeah.
And I can't just I understand Noah's comments about it, but I guess I'm just not bothered by them as much, especially considering, and actually thanks in part to Miz's persona. Excuse me. Ooh, had one of those acid reflux hiccups.
Did I eat that pepper or did you eat it?
Well, I did eat one, but
Did you eat it today?
No, I ate it yesterday.
Okay. So maybe that's what I have to look forward to tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
As well as
Yeah.
a fun night on
Yes, the twice burn.
Mm-hmm. The twice burn. But you know what? You can get a lot of work done if you know what you're doing. Hey, if you got everyone's got these smartphones these days. There's no excuse to not be working in some form or another. Anything else?
Oh, you're not saying I should take a video. Got it.
No, yeah. I was about to say no, you're not doing a
This is day 2.
This is day 2 of the Ghost Pepper Chili
Ghost Pepper Challenge. I came to play.
The one thing that okay, pretty good puffer and elbow, chanting the Miz with the, the one thing that if I can get Miz, because he's obviously listening to this, but if I can tell Miz, enough with the top rope power bomb or whatever you're talking about, or whatever you're gonna call it, it looks stupid. It doesn't add anything. It doesn't make it look like you give it more torque. I explained this many times before. But just for the love of Christ, stop it. You have that power. You have the power to stop this. You have the power to make yourself stop looking like a goddamn idiot. It is quickly becoming my most hated move. Not finisher, but just move that you do. It's the only thing I've ever seen that can ruin a power bomb. It's a power bomb. It's been around since the 50s at least. And it's never lost its appeal. Not like the atomic drop.
It's
not like the elbow drop. Not like a lot of things. The power bomb has always been like that crowd pleasing favorite move. It looks devastating, makes the guy who does it look like a fucking $1,000,000, and yet he's doing something that just looks so weak sauce that it's literally doing what I thought was impossible, but making the power bomb look weak.
Now maybe I can think of something. I can think of something that he could do to follow up on it that might finish it off better. Is after you do the ricochet or after you do the
After the rope
springboard powerbomb, is that what it is?
I guess
springs the other guy off the. So after he does that with the ropes, maybe following into it, he could do a falling powerbomb, like a sit-down powerbomb. Powerbomb. Yeah.
I don't know, because that's actually really dangerous, because if you're trying to do a sit out while you're close enough to do the rings, what you're doing is bringing a guy very, very close to the ropes and getting his neck right there on the ring.
No, not sit down into the ropes.
So basically,
No, do the thing where he bounces off the ropes, but then he follows up into a sitting down powerbomb, so that it seems like he's getting more momentum out of it.
I don't know. Like, again, that's just, if somebody could do it flawlessly, if somebody could just do it in one sweeping motion, I'd still wonder, like, what was the point? Like, what was the point of the rebound? It still feels like you're kind of using the ropes to help yourself get him over that high. It always feels like that's where it makes it weak.
Yeah,
that's where
it is. It's a tough situation to work around.
I mean,
it's like I see where you're going with it, trying to make a new power bomb. The pop-up power bomb was great. It's brilliant. It's so simple.
It's so simple.
So simple.
It's all on the other guy. I mean,
Yeah.
you don't look like you're very strong when you do a pop-up powerbomb, but it's so flashy, it doesn't matter.
Another great example of a recent development with a powerbomb was the Authors of Pain in NXT. Of course, this is a tag team thing, but it's worth bringing up as far as recent powerbomb developments that I really appreciate is they both just get the guy in the sit down or in the position, and they both run at each other and just collide the two guys, and then powerbomb. It's great.
It's a clashing powerbomb.
Yeah, in the way they're doing what The Miz does. Just they're using another person's body to ricochet off of instead of a rope.
Well, just the fact that, that you have to run and with this person up around your shoulders is enough.
And it looks painful for both guys who are getting smacked into each other.
That is a good, interesting development.
Yeah.
Like in the pantheon of great power bombs, we got the Batista bomb, which I've heard detractors.
Which is better than Batista, by the way.
Yeah, talk about a wrestler whose finisher is better than the wrestler himself.
I mean, I would chant that if I got to see Batista do the powerbomb again, I would say, better than Batista!
It's like, wait a minute, I am Batista. It's like, but that move is better than you.
Better than Batista!
Like I've heard detractors against it. I've heard, it looks too controlled. And I'm thinking, he still looks like he's not just dropping him, he's actually forcing him, which, say what you will about jackknife power bombs. Talking about, the laziest wrestler in existence. Our little shrine to him right over there.
Let's move on.
And last rides and whatever.
Last rides I like. I love the last ride.
What's
wrong with the last ride?
I'm talking about the pantheon of great power bombs.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say as far as lazy. Okay.
No, Batista bomb and the jackknife power bomb. Can only be done by Kevin Nash because only he's that lazy enough
to do a power bomb that is so lazy it works.
Yeah, well, first of all, he's nearly 7 feet tall, and then just dropping your ass from that height. Yeah. And no way that doesn't hurt. And then there's the last ride, which is the opposite of the jackknife, in which he not only gets you up in the air, but then exerts the effort to lift you up even higher to his full arms outreach, and then just getting you down right there. So, if anything, the last ride is the actual jackknife powerbomb, because because like a jackknife, it extends.
The last ride has got to be. I mean, I don't know if this is the popular opinion, but I think it's one of the best power bombs, if not the best.
If not, yeah.
Just because the guy fucking is like, okay, the guy lifts you up into a power bomb, and he's like, well, this isn't high enough. I know I'm giant. I'm fucking,
I'm 6'10".
6'10", but that's not enough.
So,
Now that's better.
so now you're 8 feet high.
Yeah, I mean it's like makes sense.
Oh.
Do I like the gimmick? No, but the move is all right.
But moving on to what is I now can deem the most surprisingly good match on the card, because this match had no good momentum going into this. We just had this long, protracted, drawn out feud that just seemed to go on for God knows what reason, not benefiting any men involved. Kalisto versus Baron Corbin in a chairs match, and this is what the value of a hardware store match can get you. Because I believe that this was the match that was most helped by the fact that it was, a gimmicked match. It was a chair match. Which meant now, like, Baron Corbin could do something other than his 3 moves.
Yeah.
Now his 3 moves.
4 moves.
Now he can swing a chair.
I can't even do the Ty Dillinger thing because that'd be 8. I can't even. So just 4 moves. No. Seriously, but besides swinging a chair, he actually did another move.
Yeah. Like an actual grappling move. Which we'll get to. But first we start off on an embarrassing note when Kalisto ran to the ring and forgot where the chairs were.
Yeah.
Kalisto goes underneath the mat looking for chairs to bring out, and then he takes a good solid 15 seconds to realize they're all set up behind him. The direction he was facing when he was running towards the ring in the first place. That was
Yeah.
embarrassment of the night. Not the only embarrassment, though. But from there, I mean, a match can only go up from there. But from there, it was just a bunch of great little moments. Moments that you had to set up because of, setting up chairs to do stuff. But as far as a gimmick match is concerned, anything you want to see in a chair match, you got. Like, you got to see people swinging chairs. And glory unto anyone who booked this angle. And hopefully nobody's going to get punished for this. But we got a chair shot to the head. I mean, granted, Kalisto kind of ran into the chair shot, but, he jumped, from the top turnbuckle, going to do something. I don't know what he was intending to do other than to get hit with a chair by Corbin, but he was jumped up, forward momentum, and Corbin caught him right square in the head with a chair. That is a chair shot to the head.
Yeah. I mean, just because you didn't quite swing it, you got momentum by running with it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe that's a little way to cheat it.
I suppose.
It's like, I didn't swing it.
I did swing.
I just got a 20-foot head start and ran as fast as I could.
While he was literally having gravity have him pull down. As if to say that doesn't equal the force of you swinging a chair shot. Like, I would guarantee you that that force, I at least rivaled some of the chair shots that The Rock threw at the Mankind in the '99 Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
At least rivaled it. Anyway. But
did he get his hands up?
Yeah, I think there was one hand.
Okay,
so it was a protected chair shot.
Okay, so...
But it was still a chair shot to the head. They don't even allow protected chair shots anymore.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know, like if that was entirely supposed to happen, or if somebody's going to be paying a consequence in the back. I don't know.
Like Kalisto, what did you do, man?
It's like, no.
Why did you get hit in the head? You weren't supposed to use your head to get hit.
Why did you let Baron Corbin run at you with a chair and then make you hit you with the chair in the head?
Yeah, seriously, like that and forgetting where the chairs were.
Mm-hmm.
That was hilarious. That was really good. I mean, if it wasn't a work, I don't think so, because otherwise we'd been like, where are they? But no, that was. I have to go back to that. That was amazing. He lift up the apron and is like, okay, it's not there. Fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Where the fuck did they put the chairs? He goes to the third. Oh, he goes to the third spot. I swear, the poor guy. It was just. It's like, is it the mask? I don't think we can keep blaming the mask for everything, though. And then he turns around there. They all are set up and everything. Like 20 of them.
That is just.
Okay, it was like 10. But still.
But yeah, it's pretty fucking hard to miss.
Yeah.
But like the rest of the match actually improved Corbin to be a lot more. I don't want to say flexible, but Corbin showed some depth. That is to
I'm sure
say,
he's
any
flexible.
depth. That is to say, any depth by being a little what would I call it?
Daring, versatile.
No, I wouldn't say daring, but a little inventive. Like when he took off his shirt to make a little lasso of it, and then used it to basically corral Kalisto into like the barricade, into the ring.
Exploring.
Yeah, like
Really exploring his space.
yeah, like he was exploring his space and then using something that would never even occur to me to do to basically look like he's injuring his opponent in a typical heel way, and that is what he did.
Yeah.
And I'm glad he did that. I'm glad that he, for the first time I've ever seen him in his professional career, doing something that never occurred for me to do. It's like he's finally thinking about something that he's finally thinking like a wrestler. I know, right?
And he's got another move.
Yeah, aside from his end of days and his pearl of a sidewalk slam.
It is 3 moves now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
Fuck.
just three moves.
God damn it.
I wrote down his official third move, and
Really, Baron? Okay.
Well,
okay, it's fine. I'm happy. I'm going to be happy.
I'm going to sound really bad when I say this, but I think I need you to take the helm on this one because I completely forgot this third move.
Oh, you mean the new one?
Yeah, the new one.
There's not like a name for it, I don't think. It was like an inverse. God, I want to say it was like a inverted choke slam or something. It was. He takes the guy and then just kind of. I wonder if it wasn't even a move. Like if it was just a complete, unscripted, just slam. Because I remember when we saw him do it, we were so shocked by the fact that he was doing something that wasn't a sidewalk slam or end of days that we just kind of our minds were blown. So I think we might just have to see that move again. You'll have to show us again, Corbin.
Yes, do it again.
We do it again because we missed it. That we couldn't. We were just so blown away the first time that we need to see it again.
Was this? No, that wasn't this. It was another match that had the guillotine slop drop.
That was not him.
Yeah, that was
No.
so not him. But
Yeah.
but yeah, I think that was the AJ Styles Dean Ambrose. That name is so fun to say. Guillotine slop drop.
Guillotine slop drop.
But anyway,
I don't think Baron Corbin would do a guillotine.
nor would he find an opponent that he could do that on.
Certainly not Kalisto. That would be really awkward.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, you know what? He did a third move, and it wasn't bad.
It wasn't.
I can't remember what the fuck. I don't even know what it's called. It was like It wasn't. It was like.
It's just
What the fuck is that move? Where you take the guy, like, I think it was a choke kind of, and then just kind of like flip him over and toss him down, I think.
It kind of looks like a body slam, but but keeping it by the neck instead of like
But yeah, if you guys know what the name of that move is.
It's like a weird choke slam.
Yeah.
It's not sure what to call it.
But good on Corbin.
Good on Corbin to try something new. And
Yeah, this means that if he keeps up this pace, within like 4 years from now, he could have
5 moves.
5 moves.
Yeah, like a little bit of a commentary that just made me do a spit take. Just like one of them, I'm betting dollars to donuts. It was Otunga, who called Baron Corbin an efficient grappler. How? What grapples does he do?
That's fun. That was pretty funny. That was a good one. That was the best one I've heard all day.
Yeah, but the highlight of the match was all right. Corbin sets up a bed of tables, sets just like a bed of tables, expecting him to I don't know do a fourth move where he power bombs Kalisto through the.
Oh, I love Corbin's tantrums.
Oh yeah, like he's just
There
kicking
some of the best tantrums.
just kicking chairs all over the place and just
Yeah.
he's just thrashing around, but then Kalisto somehow reverses it and then just body splashes Corbin and through the tables, which was a great hard hitting spot. And then, but Corbin answers that with reversing a suicide dive into a pearl of a sidewalk slam right on the outside of the apron.
You know what? Baron deserves credit when I have previously said that he one of his sidewalk slams was the best I ever seen executed by anyone.
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes and does a better one tonight. Like all I can imagine is that Baron Corbin, basically his training is nothing but sidewalk slams and an occasional end of days. Like the guy he is dedicated to the sidewalk slam.
It's like a little kid spamming the one move he knows, but he knows it so well.
He knows it so fucking well.
It's like the kid who only mains oh god, who's Hong Kong Cop in Tekken 3? Who has a
Law?
yeah,
That does the flip kick?
yeah, who just does the flip kick. Everyone has that kid at the Boys and Girls.
That's
fuck that kid.
That's Baron Corbin.
Like fuck that kid. Just fuck that kid.
But boy, is it a good sidewalk slam.
But like again, the chair shot to the head, and then an end of days on a bed of chairs, and we got a 1-2-3. Kalisto is defeated by Corbin, and we can finally move on. At least it was a fun match while it lasted. Wasn't worth all the heinous build-up that we had to sit through, and it certainly wasn't worth Corbin interrupting the goddamn Cruiserweight Championship match. Especially if it wound up just being that they're going to hot potato the belt over to, oh god, I'm forgetting his name too.
Okay, so the Cruiserweight belt, you mean?
Yeah, the Cruiserweight. They hot potato the belt again. They bumped it from Kendrick to,
oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm blanking on his
Swan,
name.
Rich Swan.
Rich Swan. Yeah, Rich
Yeah.
Swan. Well, it looks like TJ Perkins has just been buried to the nth degree.
I want to say need more time to grow, but
I had no idea where he would go.
but I'm not. I don't. Yeah, you know what? Maybe he'll have more time in a lower development area.
I don't know, like 205.
But in the meantime, I'm okay with this.
Yeah. So
Brian Kendrick is lacking in some of his mic skills, but TJ Perkins is lacking in both kind of ring personality as well as between the two of them I was just not digging it. It just maybe it was just a bad chemistry problem.
Entirely possible. Two talented wrestlers could get in the ring and have nothing going for them.
And that just might have been a bad recipe. So
it remains to be seen what Perkins can do. You know, when he's not when he's just not being shoved in the limelight.
And the gimmick is I'm not really falling in love with it.
No, it's a non-gimmick. That's what that was. Now here, unfortunately, we come to the clunker of the night. Of all the matches to be the bad one, why did it have to be the women's title match? I don't know. Like, why couldn't it have been Baron, Corbin, Kalisto? Why couldn't you have sucked? I would much rather you have sucked in this match than for these.
It wouldn't have been a letdown.
It wouldn't have been a letdown, but this was the letdown of the night, the blemish on this entire pay-per-view that cannot be erased. Because, unfortunately, it's a historically significant one when Becky Lynch and Alexa Bliss, in a tables match for the Women's Championship, happened, and Alexa Bliss won.
Yeah, first time.
So this is her first championship reign, and this is important for her. And this is important for women's wrestling as well. But unfortunately, it was just such a plotting. You know what I mean? Like
it really was following the footsteps of Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, well, it was not.
It wasn't nearly as bad.
Not nearly as bad.
But it had some of the pacing problems.
It had the pacing problems because Becky had the second most embarrassing. More embarrassing than AJ's night because at least AJ still came up on top. But Becky had a spot where she's trying to open the little lock, won't latch, and she spends 30 agonizing seconds trying to get this to work, but then she realizes she just fucking gives it up and sets up the table anyway. She realizes that the lock doesn't even fucking matter, and just like, oh god, when you're wrestling and you're not doing wrestling, and you're doing something that everyone knows that you're just doing so that you can set it up for some time later on in the match, every second is a year.
Yeah.
You just gotta know when the things are not in your favor and just move on. Just like get away from that because again, every second is an eternity. And
take a note from Kevin Owens.
Yep.
When somebody starts yelling about you taking too long with a table, You know, have just yell back.
It's
Like, hey, you setting that up for Thanksgiving? I'll always go back.
You're like-
Setting that up for Thanksgiving dinner?
it's like
Thanksgiving's in November, dumbass. Yeah, ring awareness, man. That's a
that
hard thing.
great on him. But outside of that, outside of the technical difficulty, there was also just, I don't want to say, like, a lot of it had to do with pacing, because pacing was just realizing, like, how do you set up a table spot?
And
How
we
do you
got,
do
we gotta
tables for table match?
gotta
Yeah.
be forgiving though, because this is the first like women's table match, if I understand correctly. I don't remember there ever being one before this. First time ever, right?
No, this was not the first women's table match. This was, I think this might be the first women's singles table match, but there was a tag team. There was a tag team tables match.
Okay.
With Beth Phoenix and Natalia versus.
Okay, I wasn't watching then.
Yeah.
I mean, I was watching Beth Phoenix during a time, but not that time. But this was the first one, certainly for a women's title then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know the stipulations of the match with Beth Phoenix, but it might have been for the title. Who knows? Either way, the point is that this is a historically significant match.
Yeah.
No matter how you slice it, and the outcome is certainly historically significant. History will not look kindly on this match with its pacing problems, with its weird, awkward spots.
However, they did break the table though.
There wasn't a point where a table wasn't broken when it was supposed to break.
And let me put it this way: when it's a tables match and you have to break the table in order to win the match, it would be pretty bad if they didn't break the table.
Yeah. Let's see. Moments that just made me. Like, every time they set up a table around the ring post where they just use it as a little level, I'm just thinking that table's going to break. If they try to put any weight on it in that precarious position, they're just going to break. And, like, it just made me wince, just like...
Every time they had a table spot, you were like, or they hit someone's head against it, you're like, oh, please don't break.
Please don't
break.
Not here, not this way, not this way. Ever since that Scotty Too Hottie spot you told me about.
And you didn't even see it.
I didn't even see it, but I didn't.
Ever since he broke a table with his heel, with his foot.
Yeah, ever since that happened, I'm just like, especially for tables that aren't supposed to break. And reinforcing that fear was when in Hell in a Cell, when a table was supposed to break and it doesn't, and they're thinking like they're going to go way the other way, and
you're thinking like, okay, so Sasha is really light, and women are lighter than men in general, so let's recalibrate the tables, and now if you blow on them, they break.
It's like, now there's no more broken tables, non-breaking table spots.
Hence why you really got to be forgiving for these matches, because it is. I mean, it's like, I hate to bring up the fact that it is a new territory, even though it's just people doing wrestling.
But
at the end of the day. But women are lighter than men, so there is a difference there.
Physics doesn't care about.
It doesn't care about gender.
Physics don't care about gender. Like, if you're
light, you're light.
If you're a 130-pound female wrestler, you're strong for your size. Doesn't matter. 130 pounds dropping is not the same amount of force as 250 pounds dropping. So.
And though I'm not the prop guy, I'm quite sure that they have to calibrate the tables based on a general weight. I don't know if they change it for different matches, like different heavyweight, what weight the different people are. If they're a cruiserweight, they're a super heavyweight, I don't know.
It's
speculation.
It's all speculation, but the point remains that a lot of these matches do feel like training wheel matches.
Yeah.
And I'll put it's leagues beyond the Hell in a Cell match as far as training wheel matches are concerned. But I hate to look at these matches in this light, but that's kind of how they feel.
And the way I get through, the way I rationalize it is that they gotta start somewhere. Women have to start somewhere. They have to start. And it's a whole world of difference, training for the match than it is actually doing the match. Mm-hmm. It's a whole fucking difference.
And how to work with tables and and ladders, and you wouldn't think you would have to work around chairs, but Sasha Banks Charlotte proved us fucking wrong.
Yeah.
But either way.
But they're doing it.
And
they're finishing the match.
Yeah.
And it's gonna get better.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's no other way to go but up. And
they must keep going up.
Like, there's no, like, in the moment this, like, there isn't any kind of backtracking is just...
If they dial back women's wrestling, if they make it safer, if they make it more superficial or artificial or whatever, just completely aesthetic. If they go backwards like that, I don't know if I can keep watching.
Yeah.
It's just that it's that close for me. I just can't do it. They got to keep going. I just don't want it.
Yeah.
Hate to be severe, but
That's just how it is. Outside of it being an awkward match, this was also kind of a really, really ungraceful match, including a botched clothesline spot. And poor Becky, having to tip over the table, but so noticeably doing it on purpose when she was trying to sell it like, she was trying to sell like being blown back by, I don't know, like what is the women's equivalent of a bear blast? I don't remember the exact, like,
I think it's the exact same thing.
Like exact context of,
I think a men's bear blast is the same as a women's bear blast.
Mm-hmm. But like a bear blast from
men.
I think but a bear blast from Alexa Bliss is the most intimidating thing in the
Is
world.
it really like, okay, that hit my leg. No, seriously, I mean, she's awesome, but
yeah, she's awesome, but she's a little firecracker.
She's a little firecracker.
She's a little firecracker.
There's a reason they made her her first gimmick a fucking pixie.
When you're 5 feet nothing, and
she is the perfect example of a whole lot of fight in a small little space. Yeah.
So, and good for her to use what she has and works it well.
Yeah, and she's pretty filled out too.
Yeah,
so she really has. Actually, in wrestling, that's kind of a good place to be in.
Yeah,
to have that strong stature.
She has a strong stature without being muscle bound. It's so she can perform the good high spots, from top rope and blah blah blah, be entertaining as fuck, and still hold her own when she has to perform feats of strength.
And Becky Lynch can carry her like a baby.
Oh yeah, like there's a point in the match where Becky just gets fed up with trying.
It's just like, fuck it, we're going to the other side of the ring now.
And she just picks her up like a goddamn baby, like, and then she just lays her out on the table. I think she was kind of frustrated with herself about like how this match was going because, just like Charlotte and
Sasha,
Charlotte and Sasha, like this match had its pacing problems, but they didn't have the excuse of bad booking to go along with it. So that's why I kind of view this in a kind of worse terms.
But I understand.
Yeah, like there's not a lot a wrestler could do when the booking has it so that you're doing all these awkward, weird spots that goes out into the crowd at the way too beginning of the match and doing the whole stretcher spot is like, no.
But the thing is, the fucking reenacting King of the Ring shit.
Yeah.
That was so unnecessary. We got the analogy already. We got the parallel. No.
Like, they did the best they could with those booking decisions. Unfortunately, Alexa Bliss and Becky do not have that excuse. No. It's just, most of this match is just plainly on them. Yeah. But like, even then, there were still some high spots in here that I really appreciated. Although, I think they didn't really think these spots through very much, like the DDT on the table, but that involved Nikki taking the backdrop onto the bottom of a table. So basically, she's laying out on the metal ring that surrounds the table flatly, like her spine is just taking, like, it's basically going like this. That is so painful looking, and you want to be on the receiving end of that move. Because if that way, at least you could protect your face on the DDT. Ain't no way you're protecting your spine against something that unforgiving. Oh, God.
But if that wasn't bad enough, they teased something that would have... I go on point of saying that I don't think that somebody getting brutalized should be an entire match. Mm-hmm. However, that spot... like, there is something to be said for like doing a spot with an object that requires skill and not actually hurting the person, or even getting hurt in the process. That's admirable, I guess. But doing that spot, they had the table flipped over to its side, and I thought there was a moment there where she lifted her up, and I thought she was gonna slam her into the side of the table.
Oh, like power bomber right through the side of the table.
The side end of the table, like
Sami Zayn did to Kevin Owens.
Kevin Owens on the ladder.
Oh yeah.
And I was like,
No.
Please don't do that. But if you, for some reason, decide to do that, I guess you can just let this match pass. Because I'm not going to insult you after doing something like that.
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah, like
I mean, like, that's a terrible idea, but I
like,
can't. I can't.
that's backyard wrestling shit. That is.
Yeah, like if that's how badly that she wanted to make this match work, that they would be mutually willing to do that, I'd be like, okay, well,
Look,
you go ahead and yeah.
to be fair though,
That's-
like, I don't want them to do shit like that.
No, I don't want to see anybody have to resort to that to make their matches work.
Yeah, like if you could build up a match to the point where like they are so hating against each other that there is no choice. We must break all the rules. 1,000 light tubes will be in the
Yeah.
arena, and if they're willing to do that, like if they were building it up for that amount of violence, I can't say I won't watch it. Men, women, doesn't matter.
Of course, you'd still watch it.
You
You watched, you watched Sami Zayn powerbomb Kevin Owens on the.
Yeah, but
Ladder.
the difference between like Sami Zayn powerbombing Kevin Owens onto a ladder is not the exact same as
That
using.
was a straight up.
Yeah,
ladder,
straight up, yeah. But it's not the exact same as seeing like, dare I say, Becky Lynch taking a light tube and then crashing it right over
Oh, I'm not saying that.
Alexa Bliss's head. Oh.
I mean, but the thing is, if they have a way, if they've figured out a way to do that spot like with the table like that,
Yeah.
right side or sideways,
Sideways in.
if they'd figured out a way to do it in training, and they could do it, they felt confident with each other in doing it. There's no reason they shouldn't do it. But
I do
don't
not
want to see
I
anybody.
do not want them to feel like if we don't do this match.
That's what I'm afraid of. That's
Yeah,
exactly what I was afraid of. Is that like, okay,
if we.
if the match isn't going perfectly, you don't have to resort to something like that. That would be unscripted and unpracticed. That is like if somebody gets hurt in one of these matches like that, that could be the end of this momentum
Yeah.
for everyone.
Yeah.
That'd be terrible.
Yeah, this match ended unspectacularly, kind of like the rest of this match. Like it felt like it just ended. It was just this match was kind of on life support throughout it. Besides some nice crunchy spots
Yeah.
here and there, like Alexa Bliss getting guillotine tossed off the top rope, which was I'm again mark for the guillotine. Wherever,
course.
the guillotine is a means to the end, but it's literally somebody going over somebody's shoulder, the hard way, like, and then landing on their feet.
We know how much you love. Do you want to get some action figures to actually show them how it works?
No, I think they.
I'm joking. I'm being sarcastic.
It's very hard to tell with you sometimes.
Although my sarcasm has no limits, I probably would go as far as to get you the action figures just to.
Yeah, because the thing with you though is that you hide your sarcasm so well to the point where you would actually do the thing you're being sarcastic about.
Is it because I hide it well, or is it because I do stupid things?
Little
as
bit of
well.
column A, little bit of column B.
I'm
That
being
makes
sarcastic, Ben. I don't do stupid things.
now you're just entering
I
Zoolander
know,
territory
I
of
know,
reasoning. This sarcasm needs to be at least 3 times bigger. But yeah, they set up a table on the outside of the apron, like at the beginning of the match, and finally, Chekhov's table enters the fray, and all of a sudden, like Alexa Bliss kicks Becky's feet from out under her, then just power bombs her through the table. Just kind of that came out of nowhere. I guess that ends.
I mean, it was like a little lackluster in the ending, just on the fact that it was not. I don't know.
Like, there was no
I
build
think
up to it. It was
the way
just
you once told me is that you give people the table spot when they least expect it, not when they want it.
yeah.
And I guess I felt like I wanted it a little too much. I don't know.
It's just like there was no build up to it. It feels like the point of a tables match. I should feel when tables are in a match, but they're not tables matches. Table spots should only happen when people aren't expecting them, because they take a long time to set up. And then the audience just forgets about that table when they're, the fight moves everywhere. And then the fight spills over, and then they're on the ladder, and they spill. They're like, oh, yeah, the table that was set up.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of what they did. But it didn't feel.
It did,
as-
but it
could have been better, I think, is what we're going
Oh,
for.
yeah,
Could
like
have
it-
been
like
a little
the-
better.
there was no build up to it. That was the
Yeah.
problem. Like, it was just like they're on the apron, they're near the table,
Yeah.
and then powerbomb. Okay, I guess Alexa Bliss won.
But that's, I mean, of course, now we're nitpicking a little bit there, I guess. I feel like I have no room to criticize at this point. due to the Hell in a Cell match. I
Nowhere else to go but up.
yeah,
Nowhere else
I can't criticize it because they broke the goddamn table, and that's the point.
That was the
Just
point of the match.
in a table match. Like that's how I'm just being an asshole when I say, "Hey, Sasha, Charlotte, did you see this match? That's how a table spot's done." Da, 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 da. They don't need to hear that. They
It's
know.
like-
They know. Sasha, and that's the little moments in matches that I appreciate when Sasha is just so fed up. You can see it on her face, and she takes that table that didn't break and just flips it. It's like little moments like that, dramatizations. In like inlets into what the person is really fucking going through during that match make it worthwhile for us. Those little points we love those. Keep those up.
You'll get
Yeah.
one of these days. Let's see. Last thing here. No, actually, that's it. This was a thoroughly disappointing match, but at the very least, it's not as.
I don't know if I can call it thoroughly disappointing.
Well,
I mean,
like the expectation wasn't as high as Hell in a Cell, therefore it can't be as disappointing, and it was better.
it was disappointing, but not
like if like a zero-sum argument as far as hype is concerned, comparing the two matches. This was the better match, if only because there was no bad booking around it or like this overbooking.
It was just really It was really outdone by the Nikki Bella and Carmella match.
Yeah, because of the pure simplicity of it. They weren't trying, on them, they didn't have to set up tables and work around tables, which is always kind of awkward, especially if you're not. I forgot about this. I should mention it. Especially if you're not strong enough to kind of like just manhandle the table and just need to put it wherever it is. There was a spot where I believe it was Becky who needed to get the table up on the side, but she realizes that there's no room for her fingers to grab a hold at the bottom, so she just kind of had to shimmy herself back up, lift it up, get her fingers underneath, and then twist it around. It's like,
I know they practiced this beforehand.
yeah.
And they wouldn't get the green light if it didn't work out. It's just that I think there's a lot of anxiety to be had doing something that is like the pretty much first time.
Yeah, like nobody wants to be the Rosa Parks of anything.
Yeah. I mean, that's just a lot of anxiety. It's a lot of anxiety.
It's a lot of anxiety. It's a lot of pressure, especially
Yeah.
for something that, as we said at the beginning, is inherently silly. So,
Yeah.
it's I do again. At least this train of matches are showing general improvement, and that's all we can really ask for. To allow the layman viewer to believe that women can hold these hardcore matches, or at least the WWE version, PG version of hardcore.
And it's just like we can't even get a pratfall right, so what the fuck are we? But this is just a perspective.
But this is a perspective, and we're not trying to sell ourselves as actual wrestlers.
It's just an everyman perspective here.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is which is the thing now.
Yeah. But finally, we get to our main event.
All right.
Oh boy! Like AJ Styles matches never fail to disappoint. They just don't, except for Jericho at WrestleMania. But that's such a long time ago. Yeah. Like even when he was doing things with Roman Reigns for a while just to get Roman over, he still when he forced to eat his words and just go like, say what you will, but Roman Reigns is the best fighter I've ever faced, and blah blah blah, and where he basically had to pay lip service. But then starting in June, when he went over John Cena, and when he started feuding with Cena, and then there was that back and forth, and then finally he wins clean over SummerSlam, and then wins the title in a triple threat, and then basically cheats to keep his belt, and now finally it comes to a head with a story-driven TLC match, and by God, they dragged us through the Rose Garden for this match. There was spots aplenty from every which way, and both men looked great.
Yeah.
I mean, like people, wanted to chide Dean Ambrose for resting on his laurels as his time with the belt, but I felt like there were shades of his CZW background.
Yeah.
CZW.
ECW.
No, CZW.
Oh, sorry,
CZW, Combat Zone Wrestling.
That's right.
Hearing hearing like the tales and the bumps that he took. I mean, I wouldn't even call them bumps because like what he took was monstrous. He took a fucking jigsaw, a power saw to his fucking head. Not even
doesn't get much more badass than that.
Mick Foley didn't take a fucking saw to the head. Then again, he never, Dean Ambrose never took C4, but that's. I mean, like, there was no way that CZW type wrestling will ever appear on WWE, nor should it. Nor should
I've never seen any of it.
You're
never even.
It's really fucking like, oof. Like I've seen some pretty grisly stuff. Like guys, tape up their hands.
Yeah.
And they dip it in like broken glass.
Oh fuck that shit!
And
my god.
Yeah, that's. On the other hand, there are instances where like there's a clip you can look for right now where Dean Ambrose is visibly drunk, and the whole match is centered around taking shots, drinking beer.
At least that's the actual stipulations of the match.
Yeah, like it's,
okay.
So like.
Here's looking at you, Jeff Hardy.
And he leads he leads the crowd in like, was it Sweet Caroline? I believe he was singing. Sweet Caroline.
Oh, have I seen that clip?
I don't think I never showed you it. So unless you looked it up for yourself.
Oh wait, but he's redone that in WWE, hasn't he?
Maybe
Sweet Caroline. Or maybe it was chants from the audience. I swear I've heard it somewhere.
Yeah.
But in any case.
But there was shades of that kind of persona that was finally unleashed in the WWE all throughout this match. Like him leading AJ throughout the arena. We're going on a trip and we're doing some weird wackadoo shit all across the arena. Like he sets him up for an elbow drop and Dean Ambrose goes up to the top of the tallest ladder that I've ever fucking seen in my life. It looks like the kind of ladder you would use if you needed to get on the roof of a castle.
Just climbing the ladder to heaven, yeah.
Yeah, and of course, no way that he was going to do an elbow drop from that fucking high up.
Oh god, when he told me about the Styles Clash from the steel steps.
The elevated Styles.
He didn't tell me. Before I saw it, he was like, okay, so there was an elevated Styles Clash. Where did he do it? And I'm like, oh my god. Did he do it from the turnbuckles? Like, no. Oh my god, higher than that. Did he do it from the scaffolding? Immediately I was like, oh my god, I'm stupid.
And I had so much fun poking like, he sure did, Gabe. He took his man and then he literally dropped 20 feet onto his gut. It's like, don't worry, as long as you keep your chin up, you can take
as long as you keep it up, you're fine. Falling, the wind's blowing the hair back.
I'm like, you're gonna be fine. Just like as long as you keep your chin up, you can totally.
And that's very hard for Ellsworth.
Keep your chin up, and you can drop 20 feet onto the mat with another man across your back. Totally.
Oh man.
But no, like
maybe that's why he's able to take the Styles Clash so well. He doesn't have to worry about it.
He's
born with a gift. It's a gift.
Yeah, but like there was like going on a field trip as we go throughout the arena. There was even
I miss those. I love those. I've always that's what we got as kids. The field trips, man.
Yeah,
they would, like all the things they would see, the places they go. Like get a stop for a bus.
No, like I missed
each other up in the bus stop.
Yeah, I missed the stipulations. I missed the hardcore title stipulations where falls count anywhere.
Yeah. Oh yeah, just anywhere. Just sneak up and gank the guy. And
that was.
But you have a referee with you. So I'd love to see like the build up to that. Like traveling with the referee to go find the guy. Like, hey, where do you think he is? Let's get a tracker, but or get like someone to like a pathfinder. It's like, I don't think there was ever. I understand why, but some of the build up to that would have been pretty funny to watch.
It would, but one little spot that I think we both wished would go on. Dean takes the trash can, just dumps it on AJ, and just beats him up for a little bit. They should have kept that. They should have kept that trash can on him.
They should have kept it on him, like I said, for a good
all the way back to the ring, because It reminded me a great deal of that HBK Vince McMahon
Yeah.
WrestleMania fight, where like Shawn Michaels spends like 20 solid goddamn minutes just beating the fucking crap out of Vince McMahon.
Yeah, I was sad they didn't keep it on him that long.
Yeah. Oddly enough,
Where am I going?
I know this isn't exactly, like Epicurean wrestling taste by you admitting this, but that might be one of my favorite WrestleMania matches.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like I mean, like if I had a hierarchy of my favorite WrestleMania
Uh-huh.
matches, that'd probably be in the top 5. If anything, because it just kind of it's such car crash wrestling. It really is. It's not even a wrestling match. It's Shawn Michaels just going to town on Vince McMahon, and he doesn't
yeah.
get any lick of offense. And for like, no, if I remember the dynamics of the match, he does get some lick of offense at the beginning.
In
but
the
then,
beginning, yeah, because he comes in strong, like I'm the chairman and I'm buffed out for my age.
and you got no chance in
Yeah.
hell. But then like, 15 solid goddamn minutes of just
Yeah.
glorious violence perpetrated on what is ostensibly the most deserving man in history. Just getting walloped on.
I can think of one guy who's more deserving.
Kevin Nash. 2 people who are very disturbing.
2 people,
Rey Mysterio.
3 people. Let's just get back to it.
But yeah, this was a fun match to watch. There was again hardware store match, but I'm not complaining. I mean, like it breaks up the monotony of your typical wrestling match, and both men were able to use everything within their grasp very effectively and in a very fun manner. And I knew we were in for a good match. When it was the second, or it was probably the second or third like moment in the match where Dean Ambrose sends Irish whips AJ underneath the ladder, and AJ, like a smooth pimp daddy, doesn't break stride, just right underneath the ladder. He was so, talk about 100% ring awareness. Talk about that could have been so, like, if he was supposed to dodge underneath that, like, good on you, good spot. If he wasn't, but he had the presence of mind to make himself look good by dodging it, like, no matter how you slice it, it was a great little thing, that great little touch that really helped to kind of build a myth around this match. And, like, the spots around this match that had nothing to do with the tables, the ladders, and the chairs was, it was beautiful. Like, this was the match that had what is to be my favorite insular moment. It was the guillotine slap drop.
Oh, fucking God, again.
This was the match with the guillotine slap drop. And it took me a while to kind of convince you that it was a slap drop because they called it a reverse DDT. It wasn't a reverse.
Oh, they announced it wrong.
Yeah, they announced it wrong because it's been.
All right, well, this is the match that it happened in, so you can go ahead and do it, even though you've already...
Yeah, like,
3
I
times.
kind like I said, I kind of...
He loves a slap drop.
I love a slap drop and I love a guillotine, so seeing a guillotine slap drop is like... and I wish it would come back. I wish the slap drop would come back.
Hey, it did tonight.
Yeah, like
So-
Baron Corbin, slap drop. Easy to do, looks stiff as fuck. There you are. For those of you who
And
don't...
it fits your personality for your gimmick.
Yeah, if you're wondering what a slap drop is, it's basically... It looks like a reverse DDT, except you don't keep your arm around here. You put your arm around underneath the chin, and you fall backwards like a Russian leg sweep.
Yep.
So it's I forgot who... Was it one of the Godwins? I think it was one of the Godwins, Phineas I. Godwin, or whatever, the other high...
Slap dropicus.
who called it... Hence why it's called a slap drop. I could be wrong. It's one of those wrestlers that I often get mixed up with. Like, it was one of the Godwin twins, or was it Hillbilly Jim, or was it somebody who had like a farmer gimmick?
Haystack.
No, like if Haystack Calhoun
Did it?
Haystack's
It
Calhoun.
wouldn't be getting back up.
If Haystack's
I don't
Calhoun
know.
managed to get one of his chin get underneath your chin with his massive 700-pound frame, and then well, God damn it. And there was so many crunchy spots to go over. There was a nice
Crunchy indeed.
body slams on ladders. And a slingshot that deserved the greatest sell I've ever seen AJ Styles do. AJ Styles sells like HBK. It's AJ sells even better than Ziggler, considering what he's asked to sell. Dean.
I think he sells a little more realistically.
Oh yeah, like he
Because
just
Ziggler
overacts.
studied the HBK
Yeah.
school of selling,
Ziggler overacts. Like he just.
which has its place,
Well, yeah, it fucking does have his place. But AJ.
which is not in the main event.
Oh, sat down there in the mid card. But AJ has this ability to not let incoming damage, dictate how he's going to like brace himself. Like he's slingshotted to a ladder. He lets him impact. Then he lets his body effortlessly fall over the top rope, and he just takes where his body falls is where he goes. It's almost like he's ragdolling, and
It's like the art of not tensing your muscles so that you don't
Yeah.
hurt yourself too bad, I guess. But
No.
he does it to the point where
it just feels like he doesn't
Yeah.
you don't see him like, okay, I'm gonna fall on my shoulder, so I'm gonna brace like this or I'm gonna brace like that. It's just like he lets his body fall where it is, and
where the fuck has AJ Styles? I know where he's been. It's rhetorical. Where the fuck has he been all my life? Because he is old enough to have been doing wrestling long when I was watching it,
oh yeah,
and I sure could have used some AJ back then.
oh yeah, ruthless aggression era, oh yeah.
I
But-
mean, I can use it probably even more now, right? During current times, I could sure as thank you, AJ, because God, it is nice to get a break from shit to watch you do what you do.
Yeah, exactly. The to answer your question though, I'm not sure if he would have been who he was back in 2002 and 2003.
I wouldn't know, but perhaps he hadn't developed to this point.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, it's
When
not like
he
he
was
just suddenly got this good when he got to the
TNA
WD when he got to WWE,
Yeah.
or when he was he had to spend years in Ring of Honor and TNA and IGWP, New Japan Pro Wrestling,
Yeah.
to really cultivate what he was. And we're seeing the fruits of his labor at a time when he doesn't have a lot of years left on his tank, but he's got some years left.
Yeah.
So, and of course, the way he's built and the way he wrestles, excuse me, with the way he wrestles, it's not like he's like roided up all the goddamn time, and he
Yeah.
just needs to do all these dangerous.
But he's got that great, farmer build.
Oh yeah, like he's solid, but
Yeah.
he's not muscle bound. He's just he's like a more beefed up version of fucking Sami Zayn.
Sami Zayn. That's
'cause, like,
maybe, I suppose. I don't know.
Well, he has that same kind of athletic ability.
So he's like a beefed up, skinny Seth Rollins? I'm sorry, Seth Rollins? Seth Rogen?
Seth Rollins.
Seth Rogen.
Seth Rogen. Well, I don't saying like not in face, but certainly in body type, because you can see definition in his abs. You don't see definition in Sami Zayn's abs.
You do kind of when he carves the
when he
the hair,
manscapes.
when he manscapes it.
Ooh, yeah. But outside of some great spots with the, we'll continue with more of the spots. But I just realized we came to a very funny little bit of the match when, again, I can't point to who said it, but someone on the commentary team pointed out, they're like, the harsh steel of the ladder. And I was like, yeah, the harsh steel painted wood.
harsh steel
painted wood of the ladder, yes.
Chrome paint.
Yeah. But, like, they've gotten pretty good at those prop ladders, though. I mean, like,
Yeah.
the paint that they use really does have a nice steel-like sheen.
I witnessed those ladders
Yeah.
to Valhalla.
You're like, shiny and chrome, man. It's like, good for you. But continuing on with these spots, a sidewalk slam on the chair on Dean Ambrose.
I love how we're saving the best for last.
Oh,
by the
yeah.
way.
Oh, yeah. Like, Dean Ambrose slamming on Dean Ambrose through the chair, and it just completely collapses underneath. That was just beautiful to watch. One a beautiful spot. Dean, I don't know how Dean did this. I don't know how AJ did this, but AJ sets up a bed of chairs, and he looks like he's about to basically, I think maybe back body drop him through the chairs, but instead, Dean counters it.
That fucking move.
Yeah, front forward faces
Holy shit.
AJ into.
That was incredible.
Yeah, I know. Like, front forward face flips AJ into the air. He does a complete somersault, manages to land back first on the chair.
It's hard to say it or describe it, let alone to do it.
It was like a front-facing inverted slam. That's what I wrote. I don't believe it's accurate, but it's a move that
It's like Circus Olay shit.
I have an easier time describing the red arrow than I do this.
Yeah. Okay. So, how do we describe this?
Yeah, right. It's almost like he
Was it a backdrop initially?
It wasn't. It looked like it wasn't. It looked like AJ was setting him up for like, like he was front forward facing him, like he was setting him up. It looked like he was like
I know that it ended up into
like a back suplex or something like that. But
I
or
remember
belly to belly.
it was going to end up into what seemed like a front what is that called? A front suplex or a front slam
or like the way they were face to face like that. So it looked like he was about to do like a belly to belly and then do that, but he countered it, grabbed him by the hand, and then through force enough, he jumps up in the air, pulls him that way, so that way he could do a front forward flip and land back on, and he lands his back right on the steel chairs. I'm gonna have to watch that match again because I need to see that spot.
It is. All you need to know is it was awesome.
Oh yeah,
It was awesome.
it's a move that describes it defies description.
Yeah. Defies physics or description. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then it happened.
I was debating whether we should just
because
talk about it at all.
We need to we need it's the elephant in the room as far as this match. 5-star all the way, considering what it was, especially that end.
Especially that end was.
Especially that end, yes.
Yes.
Dat end with a D, but but it's the blemish on the match, and it's an inadvertent one. Poor AJ Styles rips a hole in the seat of his pants, and you could plainly see his bare ass. I mean, it starts off.
You don't see the P1 or
we don't see the 1P.
The 1P.
The 1P or the 2B, but considering the outcome of that match, I think it's more like 4B. But
yeah,
AJ's got a quad on him. But either way,
he ties extra testicles to his his pubic hair.
Wait, if you took off his boots, you could see the dicks dangling from his feet.
Yeah,
I heard that motherfucker had like
dicks
30 goddamn dicks.
30 goddamn dicks.
He once held an opponent's wife's hand in a jar of acid
Oh, right.
at a party. Okay,
That'd be pretty hardcore.
Yes, but it starts off like a little, golf ball size rip in his pants, and over the course of the match, it just gets bigger. It got to about the size of, I want to say, about like half my fist. It's
and Ben assures me, it's like, oh no, he's wearing tighties under there.
I did like because why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you wear like under tights?
Just in case this happens.
Yeah, like he's a lot of.
But AJ don't do that.
It looks like he, if he's wearing anything, he might be wearing a male G-string. I don't know.
Let me put it this way: AJ, when it comes to underwear, he don't want none.
No, he, just like his favorite Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, he goes commando.
And honestly, I don't think they wanted none.
No.
So that's what you got. So that's what you got. Luckily, nothing else showed.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, but as soon as that goes on, it's almost like it was sort of like berserker power for both Dean and AJ, because once that happens, shit goes upside down crazy. Like
it was like, oh fuck.
Dean clears out the announce table, just fucking just punches AJ over and over and over again, gets on the tall ladder again, then elbow drops him from the top and crushes him through the announce table.
Just like they knew they had to distract from it or something, or
like
had to get the match done fast because it was going to keep getting bigger and he was going to have just. But I mean, and I was thinking the whole time, like, why couldn't this have happened to Alexa Bliss?
Yeah, that's But then even more shit starts happening. Dean, realizing that, elbow drop the announce table, not too many people are going to get up from that. Goes up, the ladder, selling it, as you do. And then all of a sudden, AJ comes from out of nowhere, then Phenomenal forearms him off the ladder. And, Dean gets him on his shoulders, then airplane spins his head right into the ladder.
Oh yeah, it's an airplane spin that actually was brutal and effective.
Oh god, yes. Ooh, and then, like probably the crunchiest spot of the night. My personal favorite, my favorite, the slop drop is still going to be my favorite, but the crunchiest spot of the night. AJ Styles, 450 splashes Dean Ambrose through the goddamn table on the outside of the ring. Now, I've always never liked the 450 splash because it never connected. It was just like, look what it almost felt like
Look what I can do.
Yeah, woo! And then, like, we were both saying the exact same things, like, he's not gonna land it, he's not gonna land it. He landed it! Ah, snap, son!
Fuck, man. AJ Styles. What are you?
Oh, and then, oh god! But the best part of the night. I mean, even though that was the crunchies, the best part of the night, Dean going up the ladder. Then all of a sudden, there. No, it wasn't. Like Ellsworth comes in. He interferes. AJ tries to do the elevated Styles Clash again. Dean catches him, then fucking dirty deeds him onto the steel steps. About to grab the belt. And what does Ellsworth do? Heel turn! Topples.
I called it, by the way.
Yeah.
I was like, that's going to be a hell of a heel turn.
And it fucking was. He just jumped Dean Ambrose through a series of tables that were just set up there in the ring for some reason.
I was only suddenly entertaining the idea. I wasn't sure he was going to do it.
But there it was.
But he did it.
And he just...
Wow.
And then AJ Styles, realizing what Ellsworth did, climbs up the ladder, grabs the belt, retains. And then... Now, this was the only time I had to see, like, SmackDown Live, or, like, the Talking Smack.
Yeah, because you just gotta hear that.
Like what in the
explanation.
world? Like, what in the world why did you do that? And I love the explanation. It's the dumbest, stupidest, most brilliant thing. It's the most dumbest, stupidest, most brilliant booking for this character. He, because of his contract that he won, thanks to Dean Ambrose, Ellsworth now thinks that, well, since I got 3 up on AJ, I want to face AJ for the title. I don't want to face Dean. I want to face AJ because I know I beat him 3 times. Well, yeah, but you beat him 3 times thanks to Dean Ambrose. Details.
Yeah, but that wasn't a match.
That was a match. Even though he won by disqualification, he won by a fast count, and he won by DQ, won by fast count, and he also won by interference.
Yeah.
So you know,
and he's like, I'll give Dean a match when I'm the champion.
I'm sure he'd do the same for me if he was in my shoes. It's like, Ellsworth, you lovable,
You beautiful village idiot.
you beautiful village idiot. This is exactly what I was talking to you about with my idea of a wrestler, the fortunate son, who just seems to fail upwards. He's the most infuriating, happy-go-lucky, totally out of his depth wrestler, and yet he continues up the track. This is brilliant. I love this.
Me too. I'm on board with you. I am so thrilled to see the fortunate son become a thing. I hope it continues in that fashion.
Yeah, and apparently they're going to have a title match on SmackDown this Tuesday, so I want to see how that goes. Does AJ retain just because Dean interrupts it and just fucking destroys? So now Dean is going to feud with fucking Ellsworth?
Like, if Dean does... There's nothing he can do to him that's worse than, like, an elevated Styles Clash, though.
Oh, God, because there's very few things that can...
The Dirty Deeds ain't going to compare to the Styles Clash elevated. That's just... I mean, you could still do it off the scaffolding, but...
At that point, you're both going
They're
down.
both just kind of going down.
But, oh, man, that was such a great ending. One of the best endings to a pay-per-view.
Yeah, and that's what made this such a great... This is just such a great set. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
What am I saying? Sit. I was standing by the end of it, man.
Oh, yeah,
God.
we
We were just doing, like, windmill high fives.
Yeah, the best ending since Money in the Bank this year.
Oh, fuck. It was good.
So Dean cashing in on Seth
Oh.
used to be the best ending to a pay-per-view this year. Now it's been usurped. So this is so far, like, saving the best for last. But who knows what's up ahead for Roadblock other than a lot of overbooked bullshit.
I'm hoping that the new era has a new kind of Roadblock.
Wow. Well, I guess we'll find out 3 weeks from now. I forgot. I think it's 20... Oh, well, if it's after the 27th, we're not going to be able to do it because I'll be in Phoenix.
Damn.
But if it's before, like if it's like Well, actually, no, it can't be before.
Well, still, if anything's gonna be missed, Roadblock would be better than.
Yeah, well, I don't think
A
it's
major.
no, because it happens on a Sunday, and they're not going to hold the pay per view on Christmas Day. Christmas Day is a Sunday, so it has to be the Sunday before.
Okay.
So that's much better. Yeah, we can do that.
Cool.
But in either case, this was a fun, happy pay per view, and
Yeah.
blemishes and all.
And if, on a side note, if you want to see the redemption match, by the way, for Sasha and Charlotte, check out the last Raw.
Yeah, I don't think people missed that. I don't think people who were
But it wasn't a pay per view though. So I'm saying it here. If you did for whatever reason miss it, I don't want their redemption match to go unwatched. I mean, because it wasn't a pay per view. It wasn't even like hyped or anything.
No, it was just
Like
kind of
wasn't even going to be a no holds barred match.
No, it was just
Gonna be a match. Like
yeah.
So
it opened Raw, it closed Raw. So nice little parenthetical booking right there. But in either case, fun little pay per view. Glad I saw it. Glad I saw it with you, and I'm glad glad to see it with you. Before you had eaten an entire ghost pepper.
Yeah, that would have changed things a little bit for a little while. It wasn't as bad, by the way, as I thought it would be.
No, and ghost peppers are like third or fourth hottest pepper in the world. But there's a lot of hype for it, and a lot of people who eat it and have reaction videos of it. Either they're overselling it for comedic effect, or they are wimps.
And if you're gonna do it on yourself, the advice I would give is don't just drown yourself in milk and water afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Try to, maybe a little bit here and there, but try to sit it out, the pain, because eventually it becomes numbing. And if you don't ever let that happen, I think it's much harder to get over.
Yeah, like you're gonna squash some of the heat, but now we're talking about something completely different from wrestling. But in either case, fun, happy pay per view. Glad I saw it. Glad it turned out this way.
Hell yeah!
Pretty much every match ended the correct way. Booking was pretty much solid all the way through.
Fuck yes! Thank you guys for tuning in. Clink me, man.
No, there it is. All right, see you.